kickoff.
The sun has broken through over Oxford, and we are set for SEC football on ESPN. Hugh Freeze's Ole Miss Rebels ready to end the bleeding of a three-game losing streak as the Rebels welcome in Georgia Southern out of the Sun Belt Conference. I'm Eamon McEnany, happy to be joined by John Kingemi. And John, things not going the way the Rebels expected this year, but one positive sign is the play of the quarterback, Chad Kelly.
Well, the one consistent thing is Chad Kelly's been able to produce. You know he's going to be tough. He's always getting ready for the next snap, no matter how hard it gets at the position. And last week in a loss against Auburn, he broke a 47-year-old record set by Archie Manning, throwing for 465 yards and 3 touchdowns. So there's one thing you can count on from this Ole Miss team on offense, and that's Chad Kelly being efficient. That's him making plays to the outside and getting it to a multitude of wide receivers.
In the words of the offensive coordinator, Dan Werner, he told us yesterday, Chad is on a mission.
He is. And the good thing about Ole Miss is they're going to score points, and they're going to have to score points. The one thing you have to look for today is how is that defense going to respond? Can they tackle in space? Can they combat the option of Georgia Southern?
The Rebels won the toss. They will receive. They're in the home red with the white pants. Georgia Southern, the all-white uniforms with the blue numbers and blue helmets. Tyler Bass will kick it off. Carlos Davis back to receive for Ole Miss. Bass is ready. And we are underway. Davis backpedals and takes a knee. You mentioned it, John. Hugh Freeze telling us yesterday this team needs more out of the offense.
Well, they have to find a way to continue to score points, and it starts at quarterback with Chad Kelly. And this is a guy that's been on a mission, as you stated as we opened the broadcast. He's been efficient with the football, and he's getting it with tempo out to the wide receivers on the perimeter, puts extraordinary pressure on a defense.
And there's extraordinary pressure on a hodgepodge of an offensive line, a patchwork offensive line, which we will get into momentarily. But they start in the pistol with Judd behind Kelly. And they run it up the middle, and nothing doing on that play.
Ironhead Gallen gets in on the tackle, and tempo will be the key for Ole Miss today. And you mentioned that offensive line. You got a first-time starter with Patterson playing center. Watch for the shotgun snaps. They have to be on target early.
Now they empty the backfield with Judd in motion. Time for Kelly over the middle. Tipped at the line. Incomplete. Looking for Van Jefferson. So right off the bat, 3rd and long. And John, as you mentioned it, the offensive line moving people around.
Well, it's a lot different today than it was the last week or the past couple of weeks, and Patterson could be the key at center.
Ole Miss going quickly, and they moved. DeMario Stringfellow out on the perimeter moved, but it looked like Georgia Southern.
False start on the offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that'll back it up 5 more and make it 3rd and 15. Not the start right now the Rebels were looking for.
And Eamon, this is one of the problems when we talk to offensive coordinator Dan Werner and head coach Hugh Freeze. Normally this happens in the red zone. It happened last week against Auburn. Penalties have been a problem. That is really the only thing that has slowed down this Rebels offense.
Trey Griffin and Bernard Dawson, the main threats to get to Kelly. He feels pressures, forced out of the pocket. He's going to run for it, and he's not going to get anywhere. Darius Sapp brings him down. And what a stop for the Eagles in the first series of the game.
That is the exact start Georgia Southern wanted on defense. 3 plays and out, getting their offense onto the football field. They have to shorten the game, so they have to be able to get a couple of those 3 and outs, get their offense on, and sustain drives offensively.
Sapp, the junior out of Valdosta, Georgia, makes the tackle. Now Monte Crockett back to receive for Georgia Southern. He comes up to the 40. Makes the grab, no fair catch signal, and slips right there at the 41. So good field position for the Eagles, and Kevin Ellison, the fifth-year senior, going to work to bring the offense on the field.
And normally it's a 2-quarterback rotation with Kevin Ellison and Fabian Upshaw. Upshaw out of the game, he was injured, so it's going to be on the shoulders of Kevin Ellison to make plays from the quarterback spot. He can run the football. He's worked hard on getting that passing percentage up, and that's going to be a key today. If they can create some explosive plays in the pass game to take some pressure away from his running ability.
You see, just 67 passing yards away from 3,000 for his career. Matt Breida starts in the backfield to his left. High snap. Ellison's going to keep it himself. Gets across the 45, tiptoes down the sideline. Let's see where they spot him. Looks like he's going to be shy right out midfield. Tony Bridges coming up to force him out of bounds.
Athletic play from the quarterback, getting that high snap and making a positive play out of something that could have been disastrous on the first snap.
2nd and 2. Now they empty the backfield. He's going to run it himself. Maybe gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Hit behind the line of scrimmage by Benito Jones, the true freshman getting a start. Freshman out of Waynesboro, Mississippi. Fadal Brown also in on the play.
Tackling's been the issue defensively for Ole Miss. They have to be able to be stout not only at the point of attack, but in the open field, making those good, solid tackles that stop the Georgia Southern offense.
Now L.A. Ramsby in. They like to run the Wildcat. And he has it right up the middle, and he gets the first down. This is a Georgia Southern program that's been known for its running game, but just 65 rushing yards last week in the loss to Appalachian State.
They're going to have to find ways to run the football today if that offense is going to stay on the field with any consistency. Yes, some explosive plays in the passing game, but running the football will be critical to their success.
1st and 10 now from the Ole Miss 47. Breida back in the backfield, stacked receivers to both sides. High snap. Ellison has to go back to get it. Now he's running for his life. Heads up field and gets dropped.
Another high snap offensively for the Eagles, and Ellison gets a hand on it. Luckily, that didn't go over his head. That could have been a costly turnover. But what that does is unnecessary hits on your quarterback, a guy that's coming into the game, maybe not 100%.
Rommel Mongeyo getting the start at middle linebacker gets the tackle. Loss of 3. Back to the ground game in Breida. Gain of 2. There's a look at Tyson Summers in his first season at Georgia Southern. Taking over a program that's used to having a lot of transition.
He wants to slow the game down, and that first couple of plays is exactly what he wanted to do. Have success on 1st and 2nd down, but now the Eagles behind the chains on 3rd and long.
3rd and 11. Ole Miss showing pressure. Ellison looking to throw. Pressure up the middle. Throws into double coverage, throws the home run ball, and it's picked off. Zedrick Woods with the interception playing center field. Now across the 20, across the 30, across the 40. Gets thrown down by Monte Crockett near midfield. But the Rebels get the first turnover of the game on the overthrow.
Zedrick Woods just playing center field for the Rebels defense. You mentioned double coverage down the middle, and all Woods had to do was circle like a center fielder, get underneath that errant pass, and then turn into a running back with a terrific return close to the 50-yard line.
His 3rd interception of the game, and now the Rebels look to take advantage.
That's going to give some confidence to the Ole Miss defense. It's something they haven't been able to do. Get the turnovers, create defense into offense, and now Chad Kelly teed up close to the 50-yard line.
Hugh Freeze has certainly elevated the standards here at Ole Miss, and he was looking for some positive energy, and his secondary just provided some with that interception, giving the offense great field position for the 2nd possession.
Might be an opportunity to take a shot down the field here on 1st down.
Here's the play fake. Here comes pressure up the middle. Kelly hit as he throws. A lot of contact out on the perimeter. No flag there, but there is a flag in the backfield. It looks like it's going to be holding against Ole Miss.
Holding. Offense, number 21. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
That's the running back, Akeem Judd, as Ukime Eligwe was bringing the heat.
Well, the former FSU player transferring into Georgia Southern, he can rush and cover from that linebacker spot. He put enormous pressure on Chad Kelly on first down.
Now they run it to the left. Oligwe there on the tackle, as well as Jay Bowdry. Jesse Liptrot also. Now Ole Miss going quickly, picking up the tempo. This is Evan Ingram looking to get to the outside. Stumbles near the first down. Liptrot in on that play as well. Ingram coming off a 9-catch performance against Auburn.
Love how they move him around to try to create mismatches offensively.
He is a matchup nightmare. So now 3rd and short. Looking to capitalize on the interception. Trips to the left, Judd in the backfield. Here's Ingram for the first down. Breaks a tackle with the stiff arm, gets down to the 25. Bowdry came up for the tackle, but he was not ready for the stiff arm.
Ingram is so dangerous when he gets his hands on the football. He creates yards, he creates catch opportunities, and more importantly, he knows how to get into the end zone.
Coming in as the leader in the SEC in receiving yards. Now they run it to the left. And Judd lunges forward for maybe a yard. Joshua Moon coming up to make the tackle. Gain of 2, bring up 2nd and 8.
May see Ole Miss use Ingram in the slot as an advantage against linebackers today.
Play fake, rolling to the right. Here comes pressure. Gets rid of it to Jefferson. Man, Jefferson having a big year. Redshirt freshman out of Tennessee. They really like the way he's improving.
Coordinator Dan Werner offensively said it really helped him redshirting last year because he's well ahead of where he should be as a wide receiver, running routes and catching the football.
3rd and 3 from the 18.
Jefferson in the slot to the wide side. Well, that's a matchup you may want to go to here on 3rd down.
That's where he goes. There was contact over the middle, throw behind him. Jay Bowdry on the coverage. And now a decision here for Hugh Freeze on 4th and 3 from the 18. And he's going, looks like he's going for the field goal. So he sends out Gary Wunderlich. He's missed only 1 kick this year, and that was from 55 yards.
And this
looks like it's going to be a 35-yarder.
Eamon, this is an area in the field where Ole Miss has really worked on that red zone, trying to get touchdowns today instead of settling for these field goal opportunities.
Coach Freeze thinking last week they weren't as certain as they needed to be. But here's the kick. And it's good. So they get the interception and they get points. Not the touchdown they were looking for, but they're out to an early lead.
More importantly, they come back from a defensive turnover. They're able to get great field position, and they turn that defensive play into points. Chad Kelly was able to find Ingram on the outside. They do stall around the 20-yard line, but come away with a 3-0 lead.
ESPNU College Football All-State Saturday Kickoff. Brought to you by Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands.
There's a look at the Friday night tradition, getting the Grove set up for Saturday festivities. And our producer, Steve Ronchis, was angry at us. He couldn't find us. We're like, Steve, we got to go check out the Grove.
I thought I saw a shot of Dave Dobson running in there with a cart.
Now Malik Henry from the 1. It's across the 15, all the way out to the 30. So a positive return from Malik Henry and decent field position for the Eagles, who were able to move it somewhat before throwing it on 3rd and long and getting picked off. John, let's take a look at your impact players.
What has to be Kevin Ellison and L.A. Ramsby on offense for the Eagles. They have to find that 1-2 punch from the quarterback position. Ramsby and the Wildcat, and defensively it's Dawson and Oligwe. Those guys can change the way this defense plays. John Youngblood defensively and Marquise Haynes. Those guys can change the way that Ole Miss tries to play defensively.
Youngblood is expected to see plenty of action today at the middle linebacker position. Now Breed up the middle. Patiently waits for a hole, but nothing doing. DeMarcus Gates with the tackle. Let's check in with Brendan Fitzgerald back in the studio for
Eamon, thanks very much. Mississippi State is hosting Texas A&M, and look at Nick Fitzgerald on the read option. Longest career run for the quarterback. It's 7-0 Bulldogs over the Aggies in the first quarter. Back to you.
All right, again, a bobbled snap by Ellison, but he recovers it with a full head of steam and gets the first down. That is why he is such a threat in this offense.
Ellison has dangerous speed in the open field, and that's something that Ole Miss defensively is going to have to account for.
An Ole Miss player is down on the field injured as we take another look at the Ellison run. Can't get a good look at the player, unfortunately, who's being tended to by the training staff. So we're going to step aside. We'll return with an update after this. Original scene here at Oxford, John Youngblood being carted off the field with a right ankle injury. You see him wearing the number 38, and obviously if you know anything about Ole Miss football, you know what that means, the number of Chucky Mullins. And just moments ago, the entire team, John, off the sideline to come over to John to give him their best wishes.
Well, when we talked to this coaching staff and defensive coordinator Dave Womack yesterday, he said John Youngblood, we're moving him from defensive end to middle linebacker. He's the leader on defense. He's the guy that you always look to for a play, and these players, teammates count on him to make those plays. So it's a big loss in the move in the middle for Ole Miss's defense.
And they moved him to linebacker to try to solidify this position, so now they have to go to a plan B there, but it's also a loss emotionally for this defense. Now Ellison looking to throw, swings it out to Crockett, who makes the grab. Cannot get away from Tony Connor, the veteran.
And that's almost a tease play for Georgia Southern. They have to find a way to get the football on the perimeter in the passing game just to keep the Rebels defensively honest and keep their eyes on the outside.
So that brings up a 2nd and 7 from the 47. Now motion. They give it to Breida. He gets across the 50 into Ole Miss territory. Bring up 3rd and short.
Give it to the workhorse up the middle. He's also an explosive player and tough to bring down just with one defender. So you're going to have to bring a lot of hats defensively for the Rebels today.
Coming in with 3,499 career rushing yards, so he's obviously over the 3,500 mark. And now it looks like they bring in L.A. Ramsby, number 1. Redshirt junior out of Cincinnati, who we also expect to see run the Wildcat today. But 3rd and 2. Here's Ramsby right up the middle. He has the first down, pushing the legs forward all the way down to the Ole Miss 40. And a late flag. I wonder if this is going to be in the secondary as an Ole Miss player threw an offensive lineman down. It was Tony Connor.
He was mixing it up with Drew Wilson.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 12. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
So you don't expect a veteran to make a play like that.
And it's penalties again, exactly what head coach Hugh Freeze talked to us about yesterday. That's going to derail not only offensively but defensively for Ole Miss. And there's the face mask against Drew Wilson. Connor just slamming him to the ground, but that's going to cost 15. And now the Eagles at the 25-yard line. Terrific push by that offensive front.
Ellison running the option to his left, pitches it to Breida. Breida cannot turn the corner. Good play by Miles Hartsfield, the true freshman out of New Jersey. Let's check in with the studio.
Very much, Eamon. Louisville on the road taking on Boston College. And for Louisville's Lamar Jackson, the Heisman campaign full steam ahead. Threw for a touchdown, then busts off a 69-yard touchdown run. He's got 2. Louisville's up 14-zip. Back to you.
All right, so Louisville is off and running in Chestnut Hill. Now here's 2nd and 11. Breida moves over to the left. They stack the receivers to both sides. Breida trying to get the corner, and he will not get away. A.J. Moore coming up for the tackle.
And a really good job by Benito Jones, the freshman defensive tackle for Ole Miss. He was the guy that made Breida kind of kick it outside instead of going north and south.
Coach Womack telling us yesterday that Benito Jones is everything you want in a lineman, plays with passion, and is the number 7 recruit in the ESPN 300 last year. Part of a very impressive signing class for Hugh Freeze and this program. Now 3rd and 14. They threw it on the last drive. Do they risk the throw here? Crockett in motion. Ellison looking to throw. Now it's a design quarterback draw. No, it's not. He stops and pops, has a man open. Complete for a touchdown. Miles Campbell. 29 yards. Fooled me, fooled the defense.
What a terrific play by Kevin Ellison, the quarterback for Georgia Southern. It looked all the way like it was going to be a design quarterback draw, but he didn't give up on the pass play, and Miles Campbell, to his credit, finds some open space in the Rebel secondary. There it looks like run. Ellison stops and sets his feet, throws the football in a perfect spot away from coverage. Campbell idles down for the 6 points.
Campbell's 3rd touchdown catch of the season. Now Younghoe Koo on for the extra point. And the Eagles have come into Oxford and taken the lead.
Eagles soaring right now offensively, and it's been through the air. A little bit of run, but a terrific job by Miles Campbell. He keeps his play alive, idles his body down, adjusts to the football, finds the end zone, and the lead. That makes his quarterback very happy.
Arizona takes on Michigan State, followed by Indiana versus Kansas at the State Farm Armed Forces Classic.
Welcome back to All-State Saturday Kickoff. A stun Vaught Hemingway Stadium here in Oxford as the Eagles have taken a lead off the touchdown pass by Kevin Ellison. And certainly if you're Georgia Southern, you're coming in here with a record of 4-4. You want to hang around as long as possible.
Well, you come away with the bad interception. Thought it was going to be a punt opportunity, throwing the football deep into the Rebels secondary. And really, this Georgia Southern defense holds the Rebels to only 3 points on that mistake.
This is returnable for Davis from the 3. It's upended, but still on his feet. Gets away from another. It's thrown down there. Looks like Chaz Thornton with the tackle, but John, certainly, as you mentioned it, not losing faith in the passing game.
Well, credit Ellison for keeping this play alive. He steps up and through, and it looked like he was going to tuck it and run, takes the hit, throws it on the mark to Miles Campbell. They beat Miles Hartsfield in the secondary, and then it's all celebration time for the Eagles offensively, led by their quarterback.
Now the Rebels look to respond. Eugene Brasley in the backfield now with Kelly. Kelly throws the slant, complete out to the 25. Demaria Stringfellow. Demarier with the catch and a first down.
Quick passing game is where the Rebels look like to have the advantage with the big, tall, lanky receivers on the outside.
Quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Now they run it on the draw to Brasley. Cannot get away. Brought down by Joshua Moon, coming up for the tackle. Sophomore out of Fairborn, Georgia. Second and 9 now. Kelly to Ingram. He's brought down right at the catch. Ironhead Gallen on the play. Kendall Vildor as well, true freshman out of College Park, Georgia.
Chad Kelly does such a great job of catching and throwing the football with accuracy in that 10 to 15 yard range.
Now he keeps it himself. Gets the first down, pays for it. Gets popped by Moon coming up from that safety position. And you know his uncle Jim Kelly very well, but there's that phrase, Kelly tough, right?
Well, he's got it. It's definitely been passed down the family tree, and Chad just keeps getting up and playing the next play.
Off the play fake with time. Gets out of Boijo, short of the first down. Good open field tackle by Christian Matthew.
That's where I think Ole Miss offensively has the advantage. They have such size on the outside, and that catch and throw with accuracy is so tough to defend.
Out to the 47. Now they run it with Brasley, who runs into a brick wall. Looked like Darius Roper, 55, with the tackle. So now 3rd and medium for Kelly.
This might be the Ingram on the out again.
Looking for Adeboyjo, knocked away. Christian Matthew. No flag. Offense standing on the field. They want to lobby for Hugh Freeze to go for it. And it looks like he ultimately decides to punt. So a key play on the perimeter by the redshirt freshman, Christian Matthew.
Another good challenge by the Eagles defensively. I thought they may go to their playmaker in the slot, Evan Ingram, to the wide side of the field.
Crockett back at the Georgia Southern 10, waiting the punt from Wunderlich. And it's blocked! Number 11 got there. Malik Henry, the wide receiver. The momentum, all Georgia Southern right now in Oxford.
You want to talk about a spark. Head coach Tyson Summers told us during the week they have to steal points and field position off of their special teams, and Malik Henry comes from the wide side untouched, extends and gets the ball right off the foot of Wunderlich. Terrific job of extension, going to the point of where he was kicking the football, and now instant field position for the Eagles offensively.
Tight end Taz Zettergren saw him too late coming, couldn't pick him up in time. So now the door is open here for the Eagles as Wesley Fields gets his first action in the backfield with Ellison, and he has the carry here. He is brought down violently by DeMarcus Gates. Georgia native Gates is playing with some passion today in this one.
If you're Georgia Southern offensively, you want to be able to come away with points because you've got all the momentum on your side. You have to be able to take this drive, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown. Coming away with points is key on this drive.
Fields stays in for 2nd down, 2nd and 9. Trips to the left. It's Fields inside the 40, just short of the 1st down. Marked down at the 40, so that'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Critical 3rd down opportunity here for the Eagles. They must convert to stay on the field. Remember, they want to possess the football, keep Kelly and company on the sidelines.
Ellison looks over. You would think, John, coming in here playing nothing to lose. This is 4-down territory for the Eagles with Ellison leading the way.
Absolutely.
And Ellison's going to keep it himself, has blockers. Now he pitches it at the last minute to Fields. Inside the 20, all the way down to the 17. So Kevin Ellison doing a little bit of everything with this offense.
Sideline to sideline. That's how Georgia Southern wants to spread you out. Terrific timing on the option. Waits till the last moment. Has an Ole Miss defender in space. And then Fields takes it up the Ole Miss sideline. And now the Eagles in the red zone.
He read Marquise Haynes perfectly, the defensive end, who told us yesterday, my eyes all on the quarterback. From the 16. Fields. Heads up field. Inside the 10. Again, this is a Georgia Southern program that had trouble running the ball in their last game against Appalachian State.
Well, this has been the issue defensively for the Rebels. They cannot stop the run. They've had trouble all season long, especially when you get down in the red zone. If you can run the football, if you're the Eagles, you have the advantage.
And of course, it goes without saying, very tough to prepare for this offense in 1 week and tough to simulate it in practice when you haven't really seen it at all year. Not like what they saw against Wofford earlier in the season. Ellison keeps it himself. Gets to the outside, the 5, and he walks right in. Look at the Eagles sideline erupt. So the Eagle fans made the trip, and so far, it was worth it.
Well, there's a lot to celebrate so far early in this football game with 59 seconds left to go before the end of the first quarter. Ellison has been the difference at quarterback.
Take over after the block punt by Henry. Great field position, and they just run it down the field. Nothing fancy at all. Now Kuon. And some uneasiness here at Ole Miss.
Let's credit Georgia Southern. They've done an excellent job of taking advantage of the turnover. You get a special teams play with a punt block that gives instant field position to the Eagles offensively. Malik Henry comes in off the wide side, and that tees up Kevin Ellison for a couple of running plays, and none better than using his speed to the outside. He's thrown for one, and now he's run for one, and it's 14-3 Eagles.
This is a program that has a history of giving Power 5 schools and big boy teams trouble. They're not going to back down, but it didn't look like coming in this was a vintage Georgia Southern team.
Well, as impressive as they've been offensively, that defense has been running sideline to sideline and giving the Ole Miss rushing attack fits. I think Kelly can get back to the quick passing game and be okay because they have the advantage of size and speed on the outside. But right now, Georgia Southern, they've got momentum on their side.
So Bass on to kick it away. Carlos Davis awaits. Davis will let this one sail over his head for a touchback. And a reminder, our run of huge Big Ten games on ABC continues tonight with an elimination game. Number 10 Nebraska and number 6 Ohio State from the Horseshoe in Columbus. Both teams are 7-1, so obviously big-time college football playoff implications. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Ohio State, TJ Barrett, he's looking for some help on that offense, and Tommy Armstrong, quite the quarterback for Nebraska.
So Brasley in at the backfield. He gets it here, up the middle. Gets brought down by Ironhead Gallen. Are we allowed to call him Ironhead with a pit guy in the booth?
I think so.
Of course, the great Ironhead Hayward.
I think Ironhead would be proud of that.
Absolutely. Kelly with time all the way across the field to Stringfellow, who was brought down right away. Darius Jones comes up with the sure-handed tackle. Let's see where they mark him down. Looks like the 32, so it'll be 3rd and short.
I think you go back to your playmaker, Evan Ingram. Try to get him the football on 3rd and short here in the passing game.
20 seconds and moving here in the first quarter, and obviously a lot of football left to be played, but a critical 3rd down here for a Rebel team looking for something positive. High snap. Here comes pressure up the middle. Eligwe. This could get picked. Just short, but Kelly threw that one up for grabs as Eligwe was bearing down on him.
Illegal formation, more than 4 in the backfield on the offense. That penalty will be declined, 4th down.
Eligwe runs right by Baldwin at the right guard position, and they've lined him up everywhere so far early in this game. Defensively, out on the edge, stacking him inside, putting him in coverage. He's been a difference maker for Georgia Southern.
Coach Summers telling us he has really come on the last couple of weeks. Last week against Appalachian State, he had a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. And another stop for this Georgia Southern defense. Wunderlich gets this one off. Now Crockett looking to get to the outside. And he'll go out of bounds at the 30. All Eagles right now in Oxford.
It's been offense,
first quarter.
It's been defense, it's been special teams, but more importantly, Kevin Ellison throwing a touchdown pass early to Miles Campbell. They get some help on special teams that shortens the field for the Eagles offensively, and then Ellison uses his legs and pushes Georgia Southern to the 14-3 lead.
Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN, and a bit of a stunner as this score works its way around the college football world. After 1 quarter of play, Georgia Southern on the road in Oxford, leading 14-3 with the ball. The only thing that went wrong for Georgia Southern in the first 15 minutes of football was an interception on the home run ball. And now Ramsby's in there for the Wildcat with Breida to his left. L.A. Ramsby. He gives it to Breida. He gets across the 35. So certainly they want to save some wear and tear on Kevin Ellison.
Well, you have to. He came in not 100%. He's had a shoulder issue. And without Fabian Upshaw to give him a little bit of balance at the quarterback position, head coach Tyson Summers says he will rely on L.A. Ramsby, who was a high school quarterback, didn't throw it that much in high school, but he can run the football out of the Wildcat position.
Now Ellison back, waiting the snap on 2nd and long, 2nd and 8. Here's Ramsby. Gets a block. Runs into Taylor Polk at the 40. Ramel Moneo in on the tackle as well.
Eamon, the one quality you see out of the running style of the Georgia Southern quarterback and running back is they press that hole, and then when they see daylight, they can explode through the back end of it. That's giving them some burst in this running game, and very difficult for the Rebels right now to contain.
3rd and 3. Rebels really need a stop here. Send B.J. Johnson over to the left. Now Crockett in motion as well. Ellison looking to throw. Pumps. Gets rid of it high, and Johnson can't make the one-handed grab. Little surprised they looked to throw the ball there, John.
Yeah, I was too. You know, you're coming out there. I think they were trying to get Crockett out on the perimeter, but good defense from Ole Miss. Everyone covered. Made Ellison pump once, try to get rid of the football late. And now that punting unit's going to come on. A much-needed stop for this defense from Ole Miss.
So now Matt Flynn on the punt. Van Jefferson back to receive. High but short. Jefferson comes all the way up to the 30 and makes the fair catch, make it to 29. So the Rebels get the stop, send the offense back out there.
After months of campaigning, November is finally here. Every week, every game, every vote counts. From around the nation they hail, all promising to make the postseason great again. See who rocked the vote for the college football playoff.
Welcome back to All-State Saturday Kickoff from Ole Miss. The Rebels trailing against Georgia Southern out of the Sun Belt. Rebels with the ball down 14-3, 13:26 to go in the second quarter. They run the fly sweep to Jefferson. Gets out across the 35, out to the 37. Brought down by Jesse Liptrot and William Bussey.
Another creative way to get the football out on the perimeter and make this Georgia Southern defense run sideline to sideline.
Now more conventional play up the middle. Open run, open room for Akeem Judd. Gets the first down. Right back to Judd. Bounces off the tackle from Bowdry for an extra yard or two. Kelly to Stringfellow. Good extra effort, looks like, to get the first down. Christian Matthew had him wrapped up, but he carried him for a few extra yards.
Ole Miss starting to stack positive plays back to back to back. That's what they need to get that momentum on their side offensively.
Georgia Southern offsides, could be a free play for Kelly, and he's looking for it all. Has a man open, too far for Adebayo. There is a flag down, which I believe is going to be offsides on Georgia Southern.
Offside on the defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Jay Ellison, the nose tackle, senior out of Hamilton, Georgia, with the jump.
And a good shot there by Chad, trying to get it down the field to Stringfellow. Just missed him by about a step.
So that makes it 1st and 5. See if that bomb loosens up the defense here for the Rebels. They run it with Judd. Breaks into the open field and gets the first down. Brought down by Moon.
This offensive line doing much better in the run game than they were pass protection for Chad Kelly. So that might be the wrinkle that offensive coordinator Dan Werner is going for.
All three receivers to the short side. Kelly pumps, then hits the slant with A.J. Brown. Brown bounces off a tackler at the 10, at the 5, all the way down to the 3-yard line. The true freshman, A.J. Brown, with an impressive run after catch.
Ole Miss not in a shortage of athletes on the perimeter at wide receiver. Terrific job by A.J. Brown, taking a quick slant and turning it into an explosive play.
Brown, a solid baseball player as well, drafted by the Padres. So he'll do double duty this spring and summer. Now Kelly keeps it himself, lowers the shoulder and scores. Fourth rushing touchdown of the season for the senior out of Buffalo.
Naaman, that'll get the Rebel fans off their seats and something to cheer about. Nice drive orchestrated by Chad Kelly. A lot of running attack by Judd. Good end around by Van Jefferson, and that quick slant put him in the red zone and set up the Kelly touchdown.
Wunderlich on for the extra point. And it's good. So they needed some positive energy from the offense, and the offense responded.
Ole Miss looking for a spark, and usually that means Chad Kelly in the passing game for Ole Miss. A terrific job by A.J. Brown, escaping would-be tacklers, getting the football inside the 5, and then it's Kelly straight ahead off left tackle for the score, and they trail by 4.
This college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. Download the app or visit watchespn.com today. So a little bit more noise coming from the fans in red and blue right now. They see their offense put it in the end zone. Malik Henry's already made one big play. He awaits the kickoff. So he'll be content to take a knee here. So, of course, Kevin Ellison, the leader of this offense for Georgia Southern. And it's normally a platoon at the quarterback position, but it's a one-man show for now with Kevin Ellison as Fabian Upshaw, a no-go.
It's all on the shoulders of Kevin Ellison. Normally you get Fabian Upshaw, who's in street clothes in a warm-up suit today with the headset on, trying to help him out as much as he can offensively. And it's usually a 1-2 punch, but with the injury to Fabian, it's all on the shoulders of Ellison. That will be offset a little bit by L.A. Ramsey running that Wildcat.
Now we could see the true freshman out of Valdosta, Seth Schumann, but he won't get extended time. So Breed in the backfield with Ellison. And they give it to Breida. Maybe a yard. Vidal Brown with the tackle. And again, it was a nice 1-2 punch for the Eagles. Ellison now over 3,000 career yards rushing. Second and 8. Ellison keeps it himself, gets across the 30, out to the 32.
This is where it gets interesting for Georgia Southern. On the last third and fairly short, they threw the football, and their bread and butter is usually on the perimeter with the option running game. And I think Ellison may have been injured on that last play, that they may have to take a timeout on third and about 3 yards.
Nope, they're keeping him out there. 15 on the play clock.
That's the one position that head coach Tyson Summers could not afford another injury at, and that's at quarterback.
5 on the play clock. No timeout. They're going to run it. Breida up the middle. And he gets to the outside in the open field. One man to beat. The 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, 10. He will go. No timeout needed. 68 yards.
What great vision by Matt Breida. This is supposed to go inside, and he has great vision to split two Ole Miss defenders and you're not going to catch Breida in the open field.
What an answer by Georgia Southern. Kuon for the extra point. And Breida just put a jolt into one section of the stadium.
Georgia Southern's offense has been able to do it in a multitude of ways. They've thrown for a touchdown. They've got an explosive play by blocking a kick on special teams. And then this run by Matt Breida gets the Georgia Southern faithful up and out of their seats.
Not a career long. He broke one 88 yards against Navy 2 seasons ago, but they'll take it here in Oxford.
Eamon, it felt like Ole Miss had taken back some of the momentum with that offensive drive and the Kelly rushing touchdown, but on 3rd and 3 with an injured Kevin Ellison at quarterback, Matt Breida took it into his own hands and dashed off the right side for an explosive play and 6 points.
And remember, something was changed on the fly, because at the line of scrimmage they made a substitution. They brought 2 guys out, so they changed something late, and whatever decision they made worked. So the Eagles now lead by 11 with 10:13 to go. Hugh Freeze and his ball club now on its heels at home. And they go for the onside kick, rolling the dice, it's loose! And Ole Miss jumps on it. It looked like Hunter Thurley, the tight end, saves the day for Ole Miss.
And how about the call from head coach Tyson Summers? He's up by 11. He's got momentum on his side and almost turned the table on the onside kick.
That is a complete roll of the dice, all or nothing kind of play, because you had all the momentum, and now Ole Miss has a great opportunity.
You mentioned Hunter
During the
Turley.
play, illegal block by the kicking team. They blocked before the ball went 10 yards. That penalty will be declined. Ole Miss ball, first down.
So even if Georgia Southern recovered it, it wouldn't be Eagle ball. But they mark it at the 46, so Tyson Summers rolls the dice.
And that
doesn't
shows,
come out his way.
I mean, that shows supreme confidence in his defense and the way they've been able to play through the first part of this football game.
First-year coach.
Correction, that foul will be enforced from the spot where Ole Miss recovered it. First down.
Now he needs his defense. So now they'll mark it at the 41. And now do the Rebels go for the shock play on the sudden change?
Ole Miss had run the football very effectively in that last drive.
Judd in the backfield. He has it on the draw. Patiently awaiting a hole. He pushes the pile forward for an extra yard or 2. Ironhead Gallen in on the play.
I think this Rebels offensive line starting to settle in a little bit. They were a little shy in the pass protection department in that first quarter. Now doing a little bit better job running the football and getting a hat on a hat.
Now Ingram in motion to the right. Play fake. Here comes pressure. Kelly steps up, looking for Stringfellow, and he's got him. Out of bounds at the 3. What a throw, what a catch.
A good throw beats great coverage every time. And Chad Kelly put that one right on the money. And that's a perfect ball on the perimeter to get Ole Miss inside the 5.
Now 1st and goal on the 3. Judd hit at the line of scrimmage. Trey Griffin with the tackle. Now Devon Penniman, the true freshman, checks in out of Houston, Texas in the backfield. Kelly under center. And they toss it to the freshman. Going to the left, nothing doing. Eligwe blows that play up. Ukeme Eligwe.
He was shot out of a cannon. Eligwe comes from the center of the field and explodes through the offensive line to the ball carrier Penniman for a loss on the play, and now you're asking Chad Kelly possibly to throw the football into the end zone on 3rd and goal.
And again, red zone, Coach Hugh Freeze, his message to us, we need more. We need to be more certain in what we're doing. But Georgia Southern takes a timeout to get everyone on the same page.
First charge timeout, Georgia Southern.
Rebels
That's a 30-second timeout.
went to an empty backfield set, and Tyson Summers didn't like what he saw out of his defensive lineman.
Well, credit after the big play, the pass from Kelly to Stringfellow, which was an unbelievable throw, and it was good coverage on the perimeter. Kelly does a nice job after play action, nice pass protection. He steps up and throws a seed to the outside over the outstretched hands of Brinson, who had really good coverage, but credit Stringfellow getting a foot down. 2 negative plays. Griffin on 1st and goal gets behind the line and aggravates Chad Kelly, who's having an efficient afternoon, 11 of 15 for 142, and has the rushing touchdown. And then on 2nd and goal, a terrific job by Eligwe getting into the Ole Miss backfield. It may have looked like with that offensive set, they were spreading out Georgia Southern on 3rd and goal for a potential quarterback draw from Kelly.
Now, these are the exact situations Hugh Freeze was telling us about we need to
touchdowns.
Know. Where's the ball? What are we going with? 3rd and goal from the 5. What do you have? So they stick with the empty backfield set.
Man coverage. I would expect Kelly possibly to run this football.
Looking now, he is forced out of the pocket, and he's going to go right down Van Buren Street for the score. Whether it was designed or not, the Eagles forced him to run.
Nice ad-lib by Chad, doing a terrific job of eluding would-be tacklers, protecting the football, and getting himself into the end zone. Nice individual effort by Kelly.
Wunderlich makes it a 4-point game, and the roller coaster ride is on in Oxford.
Sometimes you don't have to look for a playmaker when you have one at quarterback, and Chad Kelly does an excellent job, an explosive play to Stringfellow to set up a run inside the 5-yard line and get Ole Miss a little bit closer.
Here's a look at our backstage pass. Last night, Cole Swindell with a great show at the Lyric here in Oxford. Great crowd on hand. This is part of our backstage pass weekend. Cole Swindell, a Georgia Southern student, a marketing major in the mid-2000s. And he made the trip. What a great weekend. You do a concert, and then you get a chance to see your ball club in action against the Rebels.
And what a day to have him here, a 21-17 lead here on the road for Georgia Southern, who's played spectacularly.
We're going to bring him in here right after this kickoff. Crockett from the 3. Gets brought down at the 10. So, Cole, let's bring you back in. Thanks for your time. And, that Georgia Southern hat's always on. Did you wear it last night at the concert here in Oxford?
I had to. It's kind of part of my get-up, but I wasn't starting any Georgia Southern chants or anything. I'm neutral, man. This is what an atmosphere, and just to be in college football atmosphere again in the SEC. Obviously, I'm pulling for Georgia Southern, but the tailgating in the Grove wasn't bad either. So if I ever go back to school, I might, try out this place. It's not a bad spot.
The two of us are coming with you. Let us know
Cole,
when you're
take us with you.
That's right, baby. I got you.
Ellison out there with Wesley Fields. They run it to Fields up the middle. Gets out to about the 15.
Oh,
late.
I don't know about that.
Jumping on the pile. Wait, what happened to neutral? That lasted all of about one play. But, hey, what's this been like this first half? A bit of a surprise here. What are your emotions like right now with the lead on the road?
Man, every night I get to step on stage, there's adrenaline, but it's kind of something I'm used to. I mean, this feeling, it never gets old down here. Seeing the intensity, just the fans, everybody here has been so nice. And I just it's been unbelievable to watch us have some success against, an SEC. A great football team, so I'm glad for our opportunity for our school here, man. This is it's amazing.
2nd and 5, they stick to the run, and Fields gets the first down. You mentioned the tradition of this program. They've had success, and they've been here before against Power 5 schools. What do you think it is about this program that no matter who the head coach is, they're ready to go against the big boys?
I think there's a lot of things. I think a lot the offense we run, although it changes here and there. I just think it's hard to practice against it unless you have somebody that runs it as much as we do. And I think, that gives us an advantage. I was in Athens last year when I ran the football team out at Sanford Stadium, and we lost in overtime. But just memories like that, man, those are memories I don't get to make on stage. And this is an amazing day already.
Fields breaks one tackle and hops his way out of bounds.
Cole, I want to know what your 40 time is, because I think head coach Tyson Summers wants to know if you have any eligibility left. You may get your pass revoked on the sidelines. You've been going up and down.
I know. I gotta calm down a little bit. But like I said, this is I can't help but act like a kid, man. A lot of us, I dreamed of playing college football or pro football, whatever, and things didn't work out that way. But I'm just glad to be a fan of all of it, man. Just sports in general, but college football. We're always excited when it's back around, and I don't ever want it to end, so I'm taking it all in.
Well, obviously, your backup plan, becoming a country music artist, working out okay
it's working out okay for you, buddy.
All right, we'll let you go back to being neutral. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank y'all, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too. We will enjoy the game.
Thank you.
Now Ellison on the quarterback keeper. Can't break loose. Ramo Monyeyo with another tackle. If you're just joining us, John Youngblood, the senior for Ole Miss, injured early. He was supposed to play at the middle linebacker position along with Monyeyo, so kind of plan B for the defense as well here now, looking for a stop on 3rd and 6.
And I think the one thing you have to watch is Kevin Ellison. He was injured a little bit on that last drive. How mobile is he on 3rd and medium if he has to escape the pressure of this Ole Miss defense?
Ramsby in the backfield. Do they play it safe and run it? Here comes pressure. They run it. Ramsby, short of the first down. Good call. He ran where the pressure left, but he couldn't get the first down.
Good speed by the Rebels defensively. They swarm to the football. It looked like Gates was there along with a couple of other guys. And that's what you have to do against this Georgia Southern offense. You have to bring multiple hats to the football to try to get off the field. And that was a good set of downs for the Rebels.
So with under 5.5 to play, the Rebels expect to get it back. Flynn on to punt. Jefferson back to receive on the Ole Miss 28. 5 on the play clock, they get it off. Another short punt. Out of bounds, it looks like at the 41. Of course, one of the great parts of a football game at Ole Miss, the team walk through the Grove.
ESPNU College Football All-State Saturday Kickoff. Brought to you by Degree Deodorant. It won't let you down.
Brandon Fitzgerald back in studio coming up at halftime. Kevin Carter joins me. We talk about the slow start for Ole Miss. Elsewhere in Mississippi, Texas A&M on major upset alert against Mississippi State. And Lamar Jackson continues his Heisman campaign. Highlights at halftime. Guys, see you soon.
All right, Brendan, looking forward to that. You knew it could be a long afternoon for the Eagles at home in ACC play. Chad Kelly and the Rebels back out there now looking to take the lead before the half. All day to throw, and he finds a man wide open. It's Jefferson. Offensive line certainly did okay on that one.
They did an excellent job, and it was nice by Chad Kelly to have patience to allow Van Jefferson to get over the middle through the coverage.
Fake the toss.
He's got him again.
Almost intercepted. He did not see Sean Freeman. Were they playing man free for Freeman?
They were, and you know what? A little bit of error on that football to Van Jefferson, and he's going to hit his head on the goalpost.
Freeman breaks it up. Kelly wishes he could have that one back. Instead, it's 2nd and 10 from the 42. Kelly keeps it himself, breaks 2 tackles, cannot get away from a third. Moon, who's been active all day with the tackles, so now 3rd and long. This is 7 on the 39.
This is Evan Ingram territory. They were wearing out early in the game the little short out to the wide side of the field. That's where I would go if I was offensive coordinator Dan Werner. Try to get that mismatch to the wide side with your big tight end.
Kelly, though, looking for the short pass. No flag yet. There's a flag coming in. Looking for Stringfellow. Monquavian Brinson, the true freshman out of Atlanta. Maybe grabbing the jersey.
Brinson playing aggressive.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 4. It's a spot foul, automatic, first down.
Short side of the field is where Brinson's going to have coverage. Looked like he had his arms draped around the wide receiver, and that was an easy call for the officials.
So a new set of downs for Kelly. Again, the play fake. Looking for Stringfellow again. Lots of contact again, and he gets hurdled. That was certainly incidental, but Brinson up for the task on that play. So they went right at the freshman again.
If you're going to play corner, and it doesn't matter what league you're playing in, you better have a short memory. And you have to get back on and still play aggressive, and credit Brinson for doing that on back-to-back plays.
4:09 left to play in the half. Kelly rolls out now left. He's going to have to run. Nice move there. Flag in the secondary. Logan Hunt brings him down. Let's see what the call is. Looks like it's going to be defensive holding because the Eagles are dejected in the back end.
Holding on the defense, number 13. That's a 10-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
So that goes against Christian Matthew.
And it looks like Matthew had a hold of the wide receiver the entire time. Two very easy calls to make for this officiating crew. So two big plays that go against the Eagles defensively and keeping this drive alive. This is one of those offensive possessions Ole Miss would love to get a touchdown. This is where their offense has struggled. Getting close to the red zone inside the 20-yard line. They have to be more efficient about getting touchdowns and not settling for field goals.
Now the officials are going to have to get on the same page on where to mark the ball.
The penalty occurred during a running down. Therefore, it will be enforced from the end of the run, 10 yards, first down.
So that compounds the issue for the Eagles as they march inside the red zone. So 3:59 to go in the half. Ole Miss knocking on the door to regain the lead. Tyson Summers trying to get an explanation, not happy with it. Judd in the backfield, twins to the right. And attaboy Joe had to go back to get it, makes the grab. Brought down by Matthew, just shy of the first down.
Quick passing game has been efficient for Ole Miss, and they're going to have to continue that against this aggressive Eagles defense.
But they run it with Judd right up the middle, and he runs over the defender and scores. Van Jefferson with a key block. Rebels back on top.
Eamon, we talked about this offensive line struggling early, not on this series. Terrific blocks at the point of attack, and let's credit Jordan Sims being another one of those guys at left guard doing a terrific job of pushing that Eagle defense around inside the red zone, and Akeem Judd, huge lane to run in there for the touchdown.
Wunderlich delivers the extra point. And for now, the Rebel fans can breathe a sigh of relief.
First time in this football game you feel like Ole Miss has the lead and has a little bit of control of the football game.
All right, John, so Georgia Southern trailing once again. You're going to get the ball back with 3:36 left to play and 2 timeouts. I know field position dictates everything, but if you're Coach Summers and your offensive staff, what are you looking for?
Shortening the game. This is where it comes into effect. 3:36 left to go before halftime. Can you keep your offense on the field and grind out first downs? Get an opportunity to score points, but not allow Ole Miss to get the football back, get into that tempo offense, and get another score going to halftime. That has to be paramount now for the Eagles offensively.
Rebels with 3 timeouts to work with as well. This will be returnable from the 5. Good coverage by Hunter Thurley. And Sean Curtis down there as well. So Ellison back out there with the offense. It's been an efficient and productive first half so far for the veteran quarterback.
He's done a nice job running the option. He's 50% throwing the football, has the touchdown. But most importantly now, he has to find a way to get one first down. Ole Miss has all of their timeouts remaining, but keep this a possession game with 3:29 left to go. Stay on the field offensively.
Breed in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 15. Now they empty the backfield. Quarterback run. Gets a block. Gets brought down by DeMarcus Gates. Certainly on the flip side, a key possession here for Dave Womack's defense.
Well, he has to find a way to surround and rally to the football. They have not been good this year against running teams. They've been able to do pretty well, I guess, from the second quarter on today, but they have to find a way to get off the field here with a 3 and out.
Again, they're going without starter John Youngblood as that play was knocked down by guess who? Marquise Haynes. Always has a knack for getting his hand on the ball.
And we haven't said his name many times in the first half, but you're right. Very smart on the perimeter. Couldn't get to the quarterback in the quick passing game, but did get a hand in the throwing lane, and now very difficult 3rd down conversion for the Eagles.
You know, that incompletion kind of taking the clock out of it, running the clock down out of it, because it stops the clock and puts you in a throwing down. Ellison, design quarterback draw right up the middle, gets across the 20, and then is drilled. Cedric Woods coming up from the safety position to make the tackle.
Big defensive stand for Ole Miss. That's exactly.
Timeout. Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss, as you would expect, takes a timeout to stop the clock with 2:50 left to play.
Exactly what they wanted
That's
to do.
That's a 30-second timeout.
Plenty of time on the clock. 2 timeouts remaining and 2:50. That's an eternity for Chad Kelly in this offense.
And a reminder, Matt Flynn has been a little bit shaky in the punting game for the Eagles. And a reminder, kick off your NFL Sunday with ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. NFL Insider Sunday has the latest injury news and breaking stories. Then at 11, it's Sunday NFL Countdown. Our crew takes you right up to kick off both shows, also streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN here in Oxford. They'll have their eye on Eli Manning and the Giants going up against the Eagles.
We're going to have our eye on the Dolphins and Jets tomorrow.
That's right. So do the Rebels go after the punt, or are they content with decent field position? Speaking of the Dolphins, Van Jefferson back to receive. His father, Sean Jefferson, the wide receiver coach for the Dolphins. And this time Flynn responds. A good punt. Jefferson, and he does make the fair catch signal. So Chad Kelly and the Rebels will take over on the 35, and Kelly's been living up to the reputation in the first half.
Well, he's been running the offense, and it's been catch and throw for Chad Kelly. It's been a little bit of the short passing game and his running ability, and his vision down the field has been good. The touchdown run just adds to what he does as a quarterback. He's elusive. He's not fast, but he's agile enough to make people miss. So that's one of the credits. When you look at Chad Kelly at 6'2", 225, he's able to make people miss, keep plays alive, and be accurate with the football down the field.
2:42 left, 2 timeouts. So time is not an issue. The offensive line has seemed to get on the same page, and they start with a play fake. Kelly all day looking for it all on one play. And Attaboy Joe can't make the grab, but there's a flag. Darius Jones in the coverage.
I'm not so sure it was Eligwe on an inside receiver that may have been holding.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Jones lobbying his case, but to no avail, of course.
Well, there's the hand on the jersey, but it goes both ways. But at some point, Darius Jones, he has to let go. You know, you can grab and push and tug, but at one point, you can't ride a wide receiver 5 to 7 yards down the field with your hand on the jersey.
So that moves the ball to midfield. Here comes pressure from Oligwe. They run away from him. Good call by Dan Werner. And Hakeem Judd gets the first down inside the 40.
Great blocks on the outside by Evan Ingram. And it looked like Pack on the outside, the receivers for Ole Miss, allowing that play to get an extra 5 or 10 yards.
Call it a 12-yard gain down to the 38. Judd stays in there. Evan Ingram's been quiet. Does he become a factor on this drive?
There he is.
Wide open. Makes the grab, bounces off the tackler, and he will score.
Evan Ingram is a nightmare, and he's in the slot. He's just going to run unabated down the field, breaks a tackle. He's just so big and strong that if you don't take a great angle and you go in there kind of reckless to tackle, you're going to bounce off of that 6'3", 235-pound body.
7th touchdown of the season. Could be a busy offseason on the awards circuit for Evan Ingram. Mackey Award, and down here in Oxford, they say, hey, don't forget about the Biletnikoff
Is he a
Award.
wide receiver? Is he a tight end? He's an athlete, and he's productive for the Rebels offensively.
I had a great time catching up with him yesterday, an impressive young man, and he knows that as important as his production is on the field in the passing game, also this is a time now where you really have to be a leader for the young guys.
Well, you mentioned getting to talk with him yesterday. He spent so much extra time with Chad Kelly, and they have that unwritten rule and that nod to each other when, get me the football in certain coverages and certain situations, and Evan Ingram does a nice job of getting off the line of scrimmage from that slot receiver position, bouncing off a tackle, a would-be tackle, and getting into the end zone for 31 points. And now the Rebels have a 10-point lead.
And again, plenty of time here. They did not take up a whole lot of time off the clock, so 2 minutes and 6 seconds left for Georgia Southern that's now reeling a bit. 2 timeouts left for Coach Summers and the Eagles. Certainly would help to get a good return from Crockett. This will be returnable from the 5. Dancing his way towards the 15. So a lot of shaking and baking out to the 25. But again, you want to roll the dice and say we have nothing to lose. Sometimes you lose momentum.
Well, Georgia Southern had this game exactly where they wanted to, and they went for the jugular early. And Hunter Turley,
on the kicking team, number 19, that penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Hunter Turley, one of the backup tight ends for Ole Miss, was able to get on that football and be able to be a key play to get momentum back on the offensive side of the football. Kelly goes down, leads to a score, and really turned the football game.
Now there was a penalty on Ole Miss on the kickoff return, so better field position for Coach Summers' club. Moves it out to the 30. So again, 1:58 left to go. Breida in the backfield with Ellison. They run Breida to the left. Looking for a block on the perimeter. He's not going to get it. Good job by Kalo Moore coming up for the tackle.
And by going out of bounds, Hugh Freeze, the head coach of the Rebels, doesn't have to spend a timeout with 1:53 left. So if this defense can come up big on second down, Chad Kelly and the Ole Miss offense may get this football back.
Remember last drive, they threw it on second down and were forced into 3rd and long. They bring Ramsby into the backfield.
This has to be a run if you're Georgia Southern.
And it is to Ramsby. Pushes the pile forward to make it 3rd and short. And maybe more importantly, keeps the clock running if you just sort of want to get into the locker room and recover and regroup. Now down by 10.
Well, a big gain on second down forces the hand of Hugh Freeze. He doesn't take the timeout, and it plays into the hand of Georgia Southern offensively. They need a conversion here.
Showing pressure up the middle. Now Gates backs off. 15 on the play clock.
This might be just dead sprint option.
Nope, quarterback draw. What spin move. Ellison with the spin gets the first down with a $1.08 left to play.
He sure didn't look hurt on that play. Terrific move by Kevin Ellison. Eludes 2 tacklers at the point of attack, and most importantly, gets that first down as we're closing in to a minute before halftime.
Now the Eagles have to start thinking about when to use some timeouts at the 45 at Georgia Southern. To Ramsby up the middle. Gets to the 49. Now, do you just want to survive the half, or do you want to try to get points? He wants points because he takes the timeout.
Second charge timeout, Georgia Southern. That's a 30-second timeout.
So Georgia Southern with the offense.
Correction, that's an extended timeout for Georgia Southern.
Put a scare early into Ole Miss, and it was a little bit of everything out of Kevin Ellison.
Well, it was Ellison finding Miles Campbell on the touchdown pass, and then it was just speed on the perimeter. Ellison walks in for another touchdown and had the Ole Miss defense reeling, and then it was the explosive play. Matt Breida, you're not going to catch him in the open field. And it seemed like Georgia Southern had all the momentum. And then Chad Kelly and the offense, they get the football back on the botched kick, the kickoff on the onside kick. They turned it into points, and they took control of the football game with their passing game of their own.
If Ole Miss goes on to hang on to this lead, you might think Hunter Thurley might get a game ball, because that might be a play that's quickly forgotten about. But he pounced on it, because remember, the ball was loose, even though there was a penalty on Georgia Southern.
They were looking for a spark, because the Ole Miss team was reeling in the first quarter.
So now let's go on the flip side. Let's move forward. Your Coach Summers, how aggressive are you here? As it looks like they're bringing in their throwing quarterback, Seth Schumann, true freshman out of Valdosta, Georgia.
Remember, he was going to play one series in each half, but this is a really tough spot with 44 seconds left to go before halftime.
He told us throwing situations, and this is certainly a throwing situation. And here comes pressure right away as he's running for his life, and he's good enough to get it out of bounds. All he can do to throw the incomplete pass and not take the sack. So 38 seconds left now, 3rd and 6.
So difficult to come in cold off the bench, knowing you're going to face some duress in the pocket, and to be able just to get that football out and close was good, as Kevin Ellison now comes back into the game with 38 seconds left to go before halftime.
You wonder now if Coach Summers is just content to run it and get into the locker room.
Well, the way Koo can kick the football, you don't need a whole lot of yards. You may need 15 or 20 yards.
That's an excellent point. He has drilled a 53-yarder this year. And he's going to run it, looking to get to the outside and get away. He gets the first down, so that'll stop the clock momentarily. Now does he burn his final timeout? No, he's saying get right up at the line.
I think they go tempo and run the football again, although Ellison coming up a little bit hobbled after that big run.
Deontay Anderson with the tackle, but it's 1st and 10 from the 41. 27 seconds left. You save the timeout to get your field goal unit out there. Throw into the... Now let's see if they say out of bounds.
His shoulder may have hit in bounds.
So the catch is good, but now the key thing is the clock. The clock is running. So Tyson Summers has to take his final timeout.
Looked like the back of his head and shoulders hits in bounds. A heck of a concentration catch by Williams.
Final charge timeout, Georgia Southern. The 30-second timeout.
So Keegan Williams makes the grab. Lands inbounds before rolling out of bounds.
The ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, but what a job of concentrating on the football. The first thing that hits is the back of his helmet.
All right, let's move forward now. 11 seconds left out of timeouts. Again, you have a kicker who you are in his range. He can drill it. They have tons of confidence in young Wei Koo. They were telling us this week they compete in a home run derby with Tyler Bass, and they drill him from about 62 in warm-ups. So what do you throw another pass to the out?
I think they may bring him on now and maybe try the kick with 11 seconds left. The other option is to throw the football in the end zone. If you have it, you go for it. If not, you throw it out of the back of the end zone and allow your kicker to come on with just around 5 seconds left to go.
I'm with you. I go for it now. That is not your strength. We saw on the earlier deep ball that Ole Miss was ready for it. So let's see what the rookie head coach decides. Looks like he's sending the offense out there with 11 seconds left and no timeouts.
The key here is to try to find your isolation coverage and throw away, if you're going deep, away from the deep safety.
Twins to the short side, Williams to the left.
It would be to the wide side of the field here.
Looking to the short side. They go to get extra yards, but incomplete. So now young Wei Koo will come on with 7 seconds left. Looking for B.J. Johnson. Now Koo's been perfect this year. 14 for 14. But are they gonna run another play? This is dicey.
This ball has to be on the perimeter. You cannot get caught inbounds.
It has to be quick, too. Williams drops it. Will they get a second left? 1 second left on the clock. Wow.
Well, we've seen head coach Tyson Summers go for the onside kick, and he didn't spare any seconds on the clock with those last 2 passes.
Now all we need out of the rookie head coach is a fake field goal.
That's right.
And I think he'll give Koo a chance at 3 points. Again, 14 for 14 on the year. He's got a 53-yarder on his resume. Looks like this one will be a 54-yarder. And Ole Miss is going to make him think about it.
Second charge timeout, Ole Miss. That's a 30-second timeout.
Again, you can see now why he wants to get the extra yardage. But, man, you want to give your kicker an opportunity.
You have to. And the ball has to be on the perimeter. You cannot catch this football anywhere by the hashes or the numbers. And they took it down to 1 second. So Tyson Summers gambled on second down. He gambled on third down. And luckily for Georgia Southern, they're able to get their kicking unit on the field with 1 tick left.
And that last play was a relatively slow developing play. But they do get the second, and Koo gets the opportunity out of Ridgewood, New Jersey. Senior looking for a 54-yarder. Make it a 1-possession game.
Can't get much better than the way Koo has kicked the football for the Eagles this season.
This will be a new career high. It is on its way. No good. Off to the right. So he got the crack, but they come up empty. So Coach Summers will look to recharge the batteries to try to get some momentum back. But right now, Ole Miss has survived the run. They go to the locker room up 10. Let's now take you to the ESPNU halftime report with Brendan Fitzgerald and Kevin Carter.
Eamon, thank you very much. We'll get to more talk on Ole Miss.
Welcome back to the All-State Saturday Kickoff.
Welcome back to Oxford, and welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. This flyover part of the pregame ceremonies here in Oxford. A beautiful day for college football once again on the campus of the University of Mississippi. Ole Miss leads by 10, 31-21. Eamon McEnany along with John Kijemi. We take a look at our game track brought to you by Taco Bell, and some uneasy moments early provided by the Eagles.
It was a fun first half, and I'm sure that Georgia Southern enjoyed that first quarter much more than the end of the second. And Chad Kelly really caught on fire, I think, as the game went on. He's been able to rush. He's been able to throw for a touchdown. He's been able to get this offense going. And Kevin Ellison on the other side has done a masterful job of just keeping his football team going offensively. But they're going to need more. They're going to need to score in the 30s to get back in and win this football game. So Ingram's been a factor with a big run and run after catch and run after contact to create big plays for the Ole Miss offense. But that onside kick was very critical, Eamon, in that first quarter, and I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit about that because that was a turning point.
No doubt.
And I think that head coach Tyson Summers had a gamble. He knows he has to get in the 30s, and it's tough to go 80, 85 yards with consistency, but Chad Kelly turned that gamble into points for his offense, and he was able to create big plays down the field with Evan Ingram. And his running ability of Kelly really got this offense settled in that second quarter.
So if Coach Summers looks at the stat sheet minus the score, he'd be very happy with it. They were able to control the clock. They were able to move it. And again, they went for it all with that onside kick.
And they're going to get the ball to start the third quarter. So this is a very pivotal drive for the Eagles. They have to find a way to stay on the field. They did a really good job of time of possession. Remember, shortening the game. That was key for Georgia Southern offensively. They had it for over 18 minutes. They were able to create 21 points, but right now, they're 10 points shy of tying this up.
Quan Howard back to receive the kick. We are set for the third quarter. This is short. From the 3, drops it, still loose. Picks it up at the 10. Gets hit hard. Lucky to hold on to that one. After Hunter Thurley, the man who recovered the onside kick, comes up with the tackle. So now Georgia Southern back to the drawing board offensively here after they were able to move it at parts in the first half, sputtered a little bit late in that second quarter.
Ellison's done a nice job of running the option. He's had some running of his own. He's battling a shoulder that's not 100%. He's battling an ankle injury that occurred today in the first half. He's been able to crank out 37 yards in the passing and 55 on the ground with a touchdown run. See if he can catch fire early in this third quarter.
Starts with twins to the short side. Johnson to the left, Breida in the backfield. They give it to Breida right up the middle. He was met by a swarm of Rebels, led by Fadal Brown. If you're just joining us, the veteran leader John Youngblood, who is expected to play a lot at middle linebacker, hurt his ankle early in the first half. He is out for the rest of the game. So Brown was going to get a lot of time at defensive end to begin with, and he has been up for the challenge for the most part here today. Pick up a 3, makes it 2nd and 7. Ellison on the keeper. Cannot get away from Haynes. Also, it looked like DJ Jones and Fadal Brown lower in the boom. So here you go, Ellison taking a pop now, 3rd and long now for the Eagles on the opening drive.
Good, tough defense by Ole Miss on the opening 2 downs. No running room to be found for the Eagles offensively, and now it looks like they may have to rely on their passing game on 3rd and 6.
They put Johnson to the short side, trips to the left on 3rd and 6. The Rebels bring pressure. Gates backs off, now it comes up the middle. They run it, and nothing doing. That play blown up by Isaac Gross. Ramu Manyango in on the play as well. There's a flag on the play late.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 7 on the defense. That's number 7's first of the game. It's a 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Redshirt freshman Jalen Julius, not a smart play there. You had him stopped for a punt, and now they keep the drive going.
Well, penalties have been a problem for Ole Miss, not only this afternoon, but throughout this season. It's been penalties, it's been turnovers, it's plays like that that keep drives alive.
Didn't get a good look at it.
Big break for Georgia Southern.
Moves it out to the 34. Breida up the middle, across the 35.
Damon, this is one of those drives for Georgia Southern. If they can just find their way down the field, take some time off the clock, and end up in the end zone, huge lift for them emotionally if they can score on this opening drive of the second half.
Ramsby behind Ellison in the pistol. They give it. Ellison keeps it himself, and he's got nowhere to go. Fadal Brown with the penetration blew that play up. He has been all over the place here today.
Everywhere Ellison looked, he saw Ole Miss defenders. There was absolutely nowhere to go, and great leverage by the perimeter players and those big guys up the middle, DJ Jones and Benito Jones, doing a terrific job of getting push and staying home to bring Ellison to the ground.
So 3rd and 7 for Coach Summers' offense. Ransby to the right of Ellison. Looking to throw. Now he steps up and slips, so that'll be a sack. Benito Jones, the true freshman out of Waynesboro, Mississippi.
And I don't think Ellison's the same player that started this game. He's had an ankle problem today, came in with a shoulder, and he doesn't have that extra gear or that spark right now to start the third quarter.
And he came in banged up. They were hoping to take some hits off him by running the Wildcat, but we haven't seen a whole lot of the Wildcat.
No, surprised that we didn't see a little bit of L.A. Ramsby come in and take some of those hits and some of those running rushes from the quarterback position away from Ellison.
So they can't take advantage of the penalty that keeps the drive going. Now a good kick here by Flynn. Drives Jefferson back inside the 20, where he securely makes the fair catch. They'll mark it at the 19. First crack here in the second half for Chad Kelly and the Ole Miss offense that found its rhythm late in the first half.
Arizona takes on Michigan State, followed by Indiana versus Kansas at the State Farm Armed Forces Classic.
Back here at Oxford, Chad Kelly hoping the second half begins the way the first half ended.
They've done a great job in those last 4 drives with yards and all resulting in 28 points. So this is a team that struggled early but found its rhythm. Chad Kelly found a way to get this team in the end zone and more importantly take the lead going to halftime and now lead by 10.
They run it to Judd to the left. Lowers the shoulder forward for a few extra yards across the 25. Brought down by Ironhead Gallen.
I think the key to this offense as well, Eamon, has been the offensive line. It's been kind of a scattered bunch to start the game, but everybody's kind of feeling their way through this game, and I thought Patterson's done a nice job at center for his first start at that position, and all the mixing and matching seem to have settled in up front.
Senior Robert Conyers at center not playing. Judd short of the first down, so they'll be third and short. Darius Sapp with the tackle. Sean Rawlings, the right tackle, out as well. Javon Patterson's been moved to center. Now you're going to lean on that offensive line on 3rd and 1. Attaboy Joe comes out. They bring in the fullback Ty Quick. They run it up the middle, and they get the first down. Good job at the point of impact by the offensive line.
Good offensive lines can move the pile when the defense knows you're going to run the football, and that's what happened there on 3rd down for Ole Miss offensively.
Now they swing it out to Judd. Eligwe runs him down, but a first down for Ole Miss. I tell you, if NFL scouts get to watch this game or watch Georgia Southern down the stretch, Eligwe is going to flash on tape.
He jumps off the screen, and he's jumping out on us today. He's been all over the field, sideline to sideline for this Georgia Southern defense.
Now Jefferson heads over to the left to make it trips. Kelly, though, looks on the slant for Stringfellow, who makes the grab on the fastball into Eagle territory.
Quick catch and throws by this Ole Miss offense to size receivers. They have an advantage. It should be each and every week.
Now Brasley in the backfield. Looking for Stringfellow again. Just out of his reach. Kelly took a hit. Now he limps up a little bit. He's going to stay out there.
That's a tough competitor at quarterback, and he's been taking some tough hits, and he continues just to get up and play and be productive for this Ole Miss offense. Good shot. Yeah, guess who?
Right up the middle. And he's going to come off. Chad Kelly's coming off the field.
First charge timeout, Ole Miss.
Taking the helmet off. Man, that was a high hit.
That's a 30-second timeout.
It was Eligwe in the pocket. And he's been there on numerous occasions today for this Eagles defense. And that's very rare when you see Chad Kelly, who's taken numerous shots on the afternoon, take one, and it looks like it's the right leg or the right knee. He's kind of testing it on the sidelines. One more look at this hit. Just maybe the way he fell, yeah. That was a clean shot by Eligwe.
Certainly looking at the leg injury. First, when he took his helmet off and the way he was moving, you start to think the worst. He looked dazed a little bit, but that hit wasn't as high as it looked on the real speed replay.
The way he hit the ground with his head hitting first and his backside, they're looking at the right leg. It may have did something on the landing.
So now Jason Peller in the redshirt freshman from Louisiana. He's a running quarterback first and foremost, so you wonder here if he's going to be a quarterback keeper on 3rd and short. Eagles showing pressure up the middle. Peller in the throw, and it's knocked down at the line. Looked like Darius Roper, 6'3", out of Jersey City, New Jersey, got his hand on it. So the Eagles force a punt.
Kind of surprising they go to the quick passing game for the first play, bringing in Pellerin. I would have thought they would go straight ahead the way the offensive line had dominated late in that second quarter and early in the third.
Be hoping to catch the Eagles off guard. Instead, it's another punt. This is Will Gleason. Early fair catch signal, and catch made at the 6. So certainly the big question right now in Oxford is the health of Chad Kelly. Georgia Southern ball down by 10 when we return. Chad Kelly has emerged from the trainer's tent, still walking gingerly as we take a look at his numbers, but certainly all trainers now looking at his right knee. While we were away, this was the look at inside the medical tent, as it certainly appeared that they were working on that right knee.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, watching Chad Kelly play all season, he's taken numerous big shots and been able to come back. But that right knee, and also it might be his lower back, the way he landed, it just doesn't look comfortable even walking or putting any pressure on the right side. So I think they're going to end up taking him to the locker room for further evaluation.
It appears to be headed that way. And now Breida gets across the 10. And certainly that puts even more pressure on the defense now to get a stop, so it's a 10-point game when you put Pellerin back in.
You have to play field position now if you're Ole Miss. You want to be able to be stout on defense, try to get a 3-and-out again in this third quarter to get the football around midfield for a quarterback that doesn't have a whole lot of experience running in the middle of the game. There's certain situations where Pellerin can play in, but right now he's going to have to take over for the rest of this game, or at least it looks that way.
Ellison changes direction, gets out near the 15 to make it about 3rd and 3. So Kelly is indeed on his way to the locker room. Critical 3rd and short here.
When we talk about quarterbacks not feeling 100%, it goes the same way for Kevin Ellison. He limped off to the sideline on that last set of downs. Can he have enough juice to get this first down on 3rd and 3?
Rebels showing pressure. It's Breida to the left. Gets away from one man. Let's see where they spot him, and they're going to give him the first down. Gates with the tackle, but Isaac Gross had a shot at him behind the line of scrimmage.
Strong running by Breida. He's able to get out of the arm tackle from Gross behind the line of scrimmage and keep this Georgia Southern offense on the field.
Now Fields in the backfield for Breida. From the 18. It's Fields running to the right. Turns the corner. Gets the first down and gets out of bounds. A.J. Moore forces him out of bounds, but a good block on the perimeter to get the first down.
The body language of Kevin Ellison at quarterback right now, Eamon, leads me to believe that there's going to be a lot of Fields, a lot of Breida in this second half. I just don't think he has that willingness, or he's healthy enough to trust his body to run the football.
Twins to the left, to the far side. B.J. Johnson, the receiver, top of your screen. 7:15 left to play, and the clock moving, and it'll continue to move on the running play to Fields. Gets out to the 35, so a positive play on 1st and 10. Rommel Monyeyo with the tackle.
The key for Georgia Southern offensively is just that, gaining positive yards, getting 4, 5, 6 yards on first down. It takes a whole lot of pressure away from having to throw the football in 3rd and 8 and 3rd and 9.
You see a program built on being able to run the ball. That was missing in their last game against Appalachian State when they fell to 4-4. Fields gets away but cannot head forward. Nice penetration by the Rebel defense. And Fadal Brown with another big play. Fields slow to get up. Fadal Brown has been through 2 foot surgeries in his career. Feeling 100% today. He's been all over the place for the Rebels.
Done a nice job from that defensive end position. gives a lift to this defense. And credit DJ Jones on that play, too, making Fields stop and then start again and allowed the rest of that defense to rally to the football.
Fields with a big day. Breida, obviously, the big run. Surprisingly effective on the ground game. So they certainly hope Fields can add to that 1-2 punch for the rest of this ball game.
Eamon, I'm surprised we haven't seen L.A. Ramsby come into the football game at least a little bit of wildcat to offset and give you some type of running threat from the quarterback position.
So Fields helped off. And here comes Ramsby on for the 3rd and 4 with Ellison, so it won't be the running back. And you see Brown there giving him his support. Classy move there by Fidel Brown, excuse me, senior out of South Carolina. Ramsby to the left of Ellison. Twins to the short side. Now motion to the left. It's the fly sweep. Needs a block from Ramsby. Gets it. First down and more. Miles Campbell had the touchdown catch in the first half. Has a burst there. Now Ramsby slow to get up.
Perfect timing on the motion by Miles Campbell. He hits it on the run and just gets to the perimeter outside of the defense for Ole Miss, and then speed to the outside. Good breaking of a tackle from A.J. Moore, and moves the chains and gets the football on the Ole Miss side of the 50-yard line.
Trips to the right. Breida in the backfield with Ellison on 1st and 10 from the Ole Miss 41. There's Breida. He cannot get away from Brown and others.
Eamon, it seems like the difference in the Georgia Southern rushing attack, the north and south rushing, is Ole Miss is doing a good job of stacking the line of scrimmage. There's no gaping holes or gashing holes to run through, and they're allowing that pursuit to get to the football.
Now they have Ross Alexander in that H-back position to the right. Look over for the play. 15 on the play clock. And this is the drive type of drive Georgia Southern's been looking for all afternoon. Breida cannot turn the corner, so he makes a smart decision. He saw Hartsfield coming to set that edge, and he stopped on a dime to get some yards. Magnejo brings him down, but it was Hartsfield who made him change direction.
You mentioned this drive, exactly what Georgia Southern wants to do. Shorten the game, but they have to be able to convert here on 3rd and medium. 3rd and 6 is not ideal for the Eagles offensively.
Imagine 2-down territory, even though you have a good kicker who's missed earlier today from 54. High snap for Ellison. Here comes pressure. Into double coverage. There's a flag. Absolutely. Jalen Julius, the redshirt freshman, in coverage on B.J. Johnson. In the first half, it was the Rebels taking shots at Georgia Southern's young secondary.
Pass interference on the defense, number 7. That's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Eagles just returned the favor.
Well, the ball was well underthrown the entire way, and it looked like Johnson was trying to stop and get back to the football. Well, I don't know. I think more of the interference happened a little bit earlier, and not allowing the path of Johnson to get back to the football from Jalen Julius.
Eagles will take it. They mark it at the Ole Miss 21. So we approach 4.5 left to play in the 3rd quarter.
A couple of penalties have really kept this drive alive for the Eagles.
Breida in the backfield. He gets it running to the right, gets a block, but not another one on the outside. Good job by Tony Connor to shred Keegan Williams.
Tony Connor with a nice play on that run, but before that play, the interference on Jalen Julius, there's the contact. I think the contact was around the 20-yard line. That's what the official saw, and the path was impeded from Julius and B.J. Johnson trying to get back to the football.
Now with a very good kicker, you're in scoring range for the Eagles, but certainly you want 6 on 2nd and 10. Connor showing pressure off the edge, and here he comes, and he makes the play, bringing Breida down behind the line of scrimmage. So Tony Connor showing up on back-to-back plays.
Eamon, this offense is limited without the running ability of Kevin Ellison. I think it takes 60-70% of the threat of going outside with the quarterback run away.
All right, so now 3rd and 11, John. Do you risk the pass or do you live for the field goal?
I think they're going to throw the football, but they're going to try to isolate the man-to-man coverage and get the ball on the outside. You don't want to throw it in the crowd. So the two things you have to be careful of is taking a sack and throwing into coverage here.
Campbell and Johnson to the left. Ellison throws into coverage. Dangerous tip in the air, but good coverage this time by Tony Bridges. So they'll send on Younghoe Koo, who missed from 54 late in the final seconds of the first half.
Good defensive effort on the edge that time from Tony Bridges. You mentioned Tony Connor had a couple of big plays in that drive to bow their necks a little bit as the Eagles got closer to the 20-yard line.
And to make it a one-possession game, and remember, Ole Miss's starting quarterback, Chad Kelly, his return is questionable right now. So a critical 3 points here for the Eagles. And he makes it. So he sneaks it in. So Georgia Southern takes plenty of time off the clock and settles for 3 points. It's a one-possession game in Oxford.
ESPNU College Football All-State Saturday Kickoff. Brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters.
Field goal nets. All-State makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, All-State has contributed millions in scholarship monies. So Georgia Southern, speaking of field goals, pulls within a touchdown after Younghoe Koo's 15th of the season. Carlos Davis back to receive, and this will be a touchback. So, of course, certainly now the story developing here is the quarterback situation for Ole Miss. Chad Kelly on 2nd down takes a hit from Oligwe and walked off the field on his own. Trainers examined him, took him into the locker room. He is back out from the locker room, but not ready to play.
It does not have his helmet and does not look like he's in any hurry to get back. I know that right knee was getting worked on and looked at. So Chad Kelly right now out of the game, and it's in the hands of Jason Pellerin. It looks like the rest of the way.
Now he threw the ball on his first play on 3rd and short. He's more of a runner. And this time he runs it to Judd to the left, who's got a convoy and bounces off one tackler, and then Oligwe carries him out of bounds. Speaking of quarterback injuries, let's throw it to the studio and check in with Brendan.
Yeah, Eamon, it's a knee for Chad Kelly. It's a shoulder for Trevor Knight, who has left the game. He's taken the pads off. Jake Hubenak is the backup, and he fumbles the ball right here. So Texas A&M hoping to come back. They still tail by 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter. Back to you guys.
All right, certainly keep us up to date on that one. Here, Judd gets the first down on another run to the left. And, you know, you got a makeshift offensive line now, and it's an offensive line that's going to be relied on heavily.
Well, they have been, and they've gotten their act together since the 2nd quarter. I think this offensive line has played much better than they started the football game. There's less pressure in the pocket. There's more movement at the line of scrimmage. And Akeem Judd may have to play a bigger role as this game moves into the 4th quarter.
What adjustments do the Eagles make with the backup quarterback now in play?
They have to be able to stop the run and force Pellerin to throw the football.
Quarterback draw here. He has an alley. Gets across the 40 out near midfield. Brought down by Jay Ellison. Quickly back up to the line of scrimmage and ready to go. Now Pellerin looking to throw. Has a man open. Jefferson gets a foot down. Let's see. They call it a catch. And Jefferson with the grab. Slow to get up. He got hit right away.
I don't think Jefferson is getting up. That was a heck of a catch. Next to the Ole Miss sideline, left foot,
Ooh, we're going to take a look at that.
That's going to be very close.
The previous play of a completed pass is under further review.
Rocky Good, the replay official upstairs. It's the first time we've said his name this afternoon. Is going to get a look at that one. And again, the call on the field was completed catch inbounds, but to make matters worse, Jefferson hurt. But let's see.
Yeah, it was a tough catch. It was a good throw by Pellerin. Let's see if Jefferson's able to get that left toe inbounds before he hits the white. Well, I don't know. There's a little bit of white showing there. That's going to be a tough call for the official.
We'll zoom it up, try to make it easier. Again, indisputable video evidence.
It looked like there was a little toe on the white there next to the Ole Miss bench.
Which would make it an incomplete pass and an unpopular call.
Good throw from Jason Pellerin out on the move, getting him on the perimeter. He had a run-pass option, decides to throw the football down to Van Jefferson, who was still down on the sidelines with an injury of his own.
Now that one looks more beneficial to Ole Miss. You sort of see some green there, I would think.
You do. It all depends on the angle, I guess, and that's a pretty good angle to see if the foot stays in. Remember, indisputable video evidence is what we're trying to find.
Hugh Freeze lobbing the linesman, saying, hey, you know, the call on the field was a catch.
That's right. That last look, Eamon, you get to see Jefferson's toe and left foot. It looks like he may get inbounds. That one looks like a catch.
Well, I've learned one thing. Indisputable video evidence is in the eye of the beholder.
That's right.
But
on that angle, I would agree with the official. That's a catch.
Here we go. Call is in.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. It's a catch.
Certainly the second angle helps out Ole Miss, because from that first angle, it looked like the foot was on the white. So
good job, guys.
Hugh Freeze will take the first down. Remember, Van Jefferson now being looked at by the trainer, so that puts in Markel Pack. They run it to the right with Judd. Still on his feet down to the 20. Quavian Brinson holds on for dear life for the tackle. But the Rebels are back inside the red zone. That
type of play is going to carry Ole Miss into the fourth quarter. They have to be able to run the football with Chad Kelly out of the game and Jason Pellerin in the game. And Akeem Judd is going to play a big factor as this game rolls on.
Down to the 17. Pack in motion. They give it to Judd. He has an alley. Good tackle there by Moon, Joshua Moon. Did not let Judd get free.
And as a changeup, Eamon, I would expect offensive coordinator Dan Werner to move Jason Pellerin a little bit. Get him out on the perimeter. Let him have some quarterback runs. That's what he does best.
Eugene Brasley now in the backfield. And he gets it. And he gets hit behind the line of scrimmage. So good job by the defensive line getting penetration. So now Dan Werner's got to come up with a play on third down as Trey Griffin blew that play up. So 3rd and 5.
I think Dan frustrated that the quarterback maybe didn't pull the football there and get out on the perimeter. It looked like Georgia Southern defensively had everybody with their eyes on the inside and might have been an easy quarterback run on the perimeter.
Is this Ingram time on 3rd and 5? Nope. You throw it over the middle. What a play. Right now, no flags. Monquavian Brinson, the true freshman out of Atlanta, played that one perfectly with the left hand.
Remember earlier in this football game, Brinson was involved in a couple of close calls. One, he was called for pass interference. One, he wasn't. Brinson played the right hand perfectly and got around the body to get that left hand on the football. Just textbook cornerback play.
Wunderlich on. Looks like a 29-yarder. And it's good.
Well, Ole Miss finally gets on the board here in the second half, but when you have Chad Kelly on the bench and a backup quarterback in, sometimes it'll give the offensive coordinator some gray hairs.
Van Jefferson made the big play in the passing game to set up that field goal that they have to settle for. Now he's hoping to work his way back out onto the field.
A young receiver that's been really good for Ole Miss this season. We talked about him earlier about redshirting last year, benefiting from that this season. And he's one of those receivers you want to have in this offense, especially with Chad Kelly now on the bench.
Quan Howard, back to receive for the Eagles. 13 seconds left to go in the third quarter. This will be returnable from the 1. Stops. Now we're going backwards. So not a good decision there by Quan Howard to just not run forward. Let's take a look at today's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate. When you're the son of a wide receivers coach, you're going to have good hands.
You have good hands, you have good discipline, and you have toughness. And Van Jefferson has all of that. Gets that left toe down in front of the Ole Miss bench. Got banged up a little bit on the play, but his toughness shows on the catch going up and getting the football.
That kept the drive alive. It was looked at and play stood. And again, they had to settle for the field goal. So it's a 10-point deficit for Ellison and the Eagles. And again, surprised we haven't seen the Wildcat because Ellison does not appear 100%. He gives it off to Breida. Nowhere to run. But he's able to bounce it to the outside. But he cannot turn the corner. Good job by Derek Jones, the senior, stringing that one out.
That's the end of the third quarter.
And that'll do it for the third quarter. Looks like the Eagles are going to have to find a way to throw the ball because the Rebels are ready for Breida and the run. Will Chad Kelly return? Will the Rebels need him to return? We're back with the fourth quarter from Oxford after this. Coming up at 3:30 on ESPN, the Big House awaits for Maryland, and Mr. Everything, Jabril Peppers, leads the Wolverines as they try to make a run to the college football playoff. That's Maryland at Michigan. Then at 10:30, it's a Pac-12 matchup, college football primetime. Jake Browning leads fifth-ranked Washington into Cal. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. Washington is riding an 11-game win streak, but right now I think they're taking that field tonight angry.
Little chip?
Little chip.
Yeah.
So right now, Georgia Southern has controlled the clock, but they're down by 10 as we get ready for the first play of the fourth quarter. Ellison to throw. Here comes pressure. It's complete. Miles Campbell across the 40. How about that for an explosive play to start the fourth? Ellison slow to get up. A game effort by Kevin Ellison, and that one electrifies the Eagles.
An explosive play in the passing game. There was one in the first quarter with the same hookup, Ellison to Campbell. He was able to do it again and hang in the pocket. Great courage by Ellison and a good execution on the receiving end by Campbell.
Now Ramsby squirts out across the 45. They're marking down at the 46, but what an effort by the senior Ellison on that last play.
He's been courageous. He came into the game not 100%. He hangs in the pocket as long as possible, takes the shot, and is able to get it close to Miles Campbell, and then Campbell does the rest to get the football close to the 45-yard line. Just a terrific job of hanging in the pocket. You know as a quarterback, that shot's coming. You just got to hold your ground and concentrate downfield.
Now Campbell in motion. They give it to him again. Ramsby looking for a block, and he gets it. Campbell, the 30, down to the inside the 25. Miles Campbell with two explosive plays here early in the fourth quarter.
This is exactly what Georgia Southern needed in their offense to start the fourth quarter. Two explosive plays, one in the passing game. That time, Campbell's able to go wide side and get the Eagles offense inside the 25-yard line. The only thing this offense is missing now is Ellison's inability to run from the quarterback position.
Here's Ramsby Not much doing on that one. Let's check in with Brendan Fitzgerald back in the studio.
Eamon, we go back to Boston College where Lamar Jackson having another monster day. 4 touchdowns through the air, 3 on the ground, 7 total. He's 2 shy of the ACC record set by Deshaun Watson last season. Back to you.
All right, so that Heisman Trophy campaign continues to be rolling.
Do you hand it to him now? He's doing a pretty good job, a convincing job of it.
Now Breida. I tell you, there's always a chance for Jabril Peppers against Ohio State to get his hands on a ball and take it to the house in one way, shape, or form to make that thing interesting in early December.
That's true.
But certainly he is the front runner. Now here, 3rd and long. Not the strength of this Eagle offense in field goal range.
Again, you can't take a sack, and you have to be careful where you throw the football. Do not throw it in coverage. Try to select the perimeter passing game here.
Well, they're going to throw with time. Into single coverage. What an adjustment. They say incomplete. Wow. It looked like B.J. Johnson had worked his way back to the ball, but he couldn't bring it in. Jalen Julius, they tested the freshman, redshirt freshman.
Kevin Ellison just trying to stop B.J. Johnson with the throw because Jalen Julius never turns his back to the football, and that's one you have to catch in a game that's a 10-point margin right now. That's a huge miss by Georgia Southern.
So they bring out Younghoe Koo again for a 38-yarder. Good snap, good hold. And it's good. So once again, the Eagles won't go away. We have ourselves a 1-possession game. The Eagles pull within 7.
ESPNU College Football All-State Saturday Kickoff. Brought to you by Allstate, proud supporters of college football. It's good to be in good hands.
Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. See the sun rising earlier today. That's how it looked when John Kangemi got out of his hotel room and went for that 6-mile jog around Oxford at the Grove.
I was thinking about it.
Beautiful weekend here in Oxford. Great turnout, over 60,000 fans on hand. Georgia Southern has entertained them a little bit more maybe than they were hoping for. Davis will take a knee. And it looks like Pellerin's coming back out. So, John, you know, this is where head coach Hugh Freeze, you know, in conjunction with Dan Werner, has to sort of set your mindset. You got your backup quarterback and a 1-touchdown lead.
Well, I think you have to move him a little bit if you want to get him on the perimeter and threaten and help out Akeem Judd, because that's going to get the eyes of the defense of the Eagles kind of going sideline to sideline. You just can't keep pounding it in the middle. I think you have to have a little movement with Pellerin. But the offensive line of Ole Miss has done a really good job in this second half.
If you're just joining us, starting quarterback Chad Kelly injuring his knee early in the 3rd quarter. He went into the locker room. He's back from the locker room, but does not have his helmet on. It appears obviously to be done for the day, and they're going to lean on this makeshift offensive line and running game to close this one out. That was Brasley for the short gain. Touchdown passes in 22 straight games for Chad Kelly.
This might be a good play to move him to the wide side and find Ingram in the flat.
Pellerin gets outside and lunges forward for the first down.
Pellerin 6'4", 230 pounds, so he's going to be able to shake off a couple of barn tackles going to the short side of the field. Good run by the redshirt freshman quarterback.
Throwing deep. Single coverage. Great catch by A.J. Brown.
Taken away.
Darius Jones takes it away. They're saying he was down, so they're whistling it down. First down, he gets the interception. So a huge play by Darius Jones. The senior out of Woodruff, South Carolina, too strong for the true freshman.
He took it right away from the freshman receiver.
Is an interception.
What
The
a great
defender's knee
job.
went down, so it's first down, Georgia Southern.
The knee hits while they were in battle.
What an aggressive effort by Darius Jones. He just rips the football away from A.J. Brown. There's the knee on the ground. But you can't say enough. That's just wanting the football a little bit more.
Wow. They trusted Pellerin to go for the home run ball, and it was a completed pass. Let's not put that on the quarterback.
No,
Let's just give
put it
credit to the
close.
defensive back, Darius Jones. So now the door is open for the Eagles. Another break created by this Georgia Southern team. Remember, they blocked the punt in the first half. Now Ramsby, nothing doing. DJ Jones and Fadal Brown and DeMarcus Gates in on that play.
This is where your defense has to rise up and make a play. They have to go 3 and out or make a play on the football to get that momentum back, because right now the Eagles, they feel like they've got it on their side. They've got that want to on defense, and has to translate on the offensive side as well.
Again, this is a defense that has been challenged to stop the run. Third straight game they've given up more than 250 rushing yards. The big play on the last drive, though, was the pass play to Campbell. Now Ramsby. So they're ready for this play. So now it'll be 3rd and long for Ellison and the Eagles as we approach 10 minutes left in regulation.
This has to be very difficult for David Dean, who's calling the plays for Georgia Southern. He has no quarterback run in his arsenal, and it's either north and south running with no illusion of the quarterback running at all, or on 3rd and long trying to make a play in the passing game.
So now the Rebel fans start to raise the volume. On 3rd and 9 from the Georgia Southern 23. Here comes pressure. It's picked up into double coverage, and it's almost picked off. Tony
Looked like Derek Jones was the guy on the corner. I mean, if he catches that football, he may go the distance for Ole Miss defensively, but that's exactly what they needed, a 3 and out. Boy, and if you're Derek Jones, your eyes must have gotten huge, knowing if you catch the football, you're going to walk into the end zone.
So the interception does not hurt him. The near interception, though, forces the punt. Van Jefferson back on the field. Good sign. He's ready for the punt. And it's short and out of bounds, way out of bounds.
I think Ole Miss is going to get the football around the 50-yard line.
The 45. So the Eagles can't take advantage. Ole Miss gets the ball back with a 7-point lead.
After months of campaigning, November is finally here. Every week, every game, every vote counts. From around the nation they hail, all promising to make the postseason great again. See who rocked the vote for the college football playoff.
You're watching the All-State Saturday kickoff. Jason Pellerin with the controls of the Ole Miss offense. Chad Kelly forced to the sidelines with a knee injury, trying to salt away the final 9 minutes and 45 seconds and stop the bleeding of a 3-game losing streak. Akeem Judd gets across the 45 for a gain of 2. And again, John, if you were Dan Werner, again, the interception wasn't on Pellerin, but do you get a little gun-shy about throwing the ball here?
I don't think you get gun-shy. I think you're careful where you throw the football. The one-on-one shot down the field, you take it anytime you can get it. But I think you try to move the quarterback a little bit more.
They toss it to Judd, gets across the 50, gets the first down. And now a late flag.
Just a bad play.
Oh, wow. Away from the ball. Monquavian Brinson and DeMaurier Stringfellow get into a fight right by the Ole Miss bench. Certainly, I saw Brinson shoved. I didn't see if Stringfellow was going to get called first.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be both guys getting penalties here.
So that'll wipe out the play. Unless it was after the whistle.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, Georgia Southern, number 3, and number 4 on Ole Miss. Those are both players first of the game. Those will cancel. The result of the play is first down.
So they swapped the numbers. It was 4 for Georgia Southern, 3 for Ole Miss. But the important thing is the play stops.
Well, Stringfellow is not only going to block Brinson into the Ole Miss bench, but when he takes him all the way to the bench, he gets a shot in first, and that was going to be a penalty on Ole Miss. But then Brinson retaliated. So after the whistle, it goes both ways, but the result of the play is going to be a first down.
Tough moment for the true freshman there, who's definitely been picked on a little bit. It's been up for it as well. Up to the challenge, and now Ole Miss continues to move the rock on the ground. And look at this pile. You want to talk about a test of toughness. And now another late hit. So here's the last one earlier. Brinson. Yeah, I mean, wow, Stringfellow's lucky to still be playing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's the retaliation, but you almost don't blame Brinson.
Not at all. Good job by the field judge to be right there, but the chippiness continued and overflowed onto the next play.
Looks like Boudries may get called for Georgia Southern here.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 26 on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So a redshirt freshman losing his cool. So Coach Summers seeing some of his youngsters not be able to handle the moment right now. And the Rebels will take that 15.
And when you're in a one-score football game with 8:41 left to go, these are the types of penalties you just have to stay away from.
Because now at the least for Ole Miss, you're in field goal range.
Right. You have instant field position with the 2 decisions you've made on the last 2 plays.
And stick with Judd in the ground game. He gets dropped at the 21, make it the 22. And there, Boudry kind of sarcastically gets up and says, I didn't do anything.
It's not me.
Now Ole Miss pumping the brakes a little bit, no rush.
In this situation earlier in this drive, we saw Jason Pellerin take a quarterback sweep and a quarterback run to the short side of the field, the left side of the field. That might be set up for him again here.
Low snap, he gives it to Judd. And the delay in the handoff allowed penetration for the Eagles. Ironhead Gallen with the tackle. So now they'll bring in Brasley, fresh legs for Judd on 3rd down. 3rd and long here, so an opportunity for the Eagles to force the field goal, and then do you have Pellerin throw the ball? Attaboy comes out, Ingram in the slot to the left, twins to both sides. Georgia Southern showing pressure up the middle with Gallen. Under 7.5 minutes left to play in regulation. Here comes Aligwe, right up the middle, picked up for now. Pellerin with time, looking for Ingram in 6, dropped. A good throw to your All-American.
Yeah, you can't ask for any more. Man-to-man coverage, short side of the field. Evan Ingram, who's a mismatch nightmare, has a step and a really good throw by Pellerin. A player of that caliber with that wingspan, 9 times out of 10, you think he's going to come down with it.
Of course, Ingram with a key drop last week late against Auburn, and you wonder if those thoughts are going through his mind as he's frustrated once again. But Wunderlich on to make it a 10-point lead, and he delivers. So Georgia Southern bends, they lose their cool, but they hold him to a field goal. Ingram knows probably should be a touchdown. So Ole Miss able to tack on 3 points here to make it a 10-point game, and again, it was the lack of composure costing the Eagles.
Well, it was one of those penalties late in the game that you want to stay away from. And, you know, on the sideline, it was Stringfellow first initially, and then on the play after that, there was another penalty in the secondary with Boudry, who gets called for a 15-yarder, and it just kept advancing the Ole Miss Rebels offense down the field.
That's a tough 15-yarder on Boudry, but certainly he got that extra shove in. So now from the 5, it's Breida, who gets by one man. He'll get to the 20, and then he'll get knocked out of bounds at the 24 by Kalo Moore. So Talk about some inexperience in the secondary, a big penalty.
Yeah,
kept the drive
freshman will
alive
learn.
and gave him 3 points.
That's right. You know, you had the penalty that keeps the drive alive, and you have to stay away from those types of decisions, especially when with the score at that time, a 7-point game.
So now Ellison and Ramsby back out there for Georgia Southern. They've been able to move the ball on the ground. For the most part this afternoon. Are they running out of time to run it? Not yet. They try this same play again. Mike Jackson heads up field, gets upended by Hartsfield. Let's check in with Brendan Fitzgerald for an update on Mississippi State.
Yeah, Eamon, over in Starkville, the impressive day for Nick Fitzgerald continues. He has 2 passing touchdowns, and this makes 2 rushing touchdowns as he powers in from 4 yards out. 2-touchdown lead with 3 minutes left. Back to you.
Did I hear that right? Is that Brendan Fitzgerald bragging about Nick Fitzgerald?
I think so.
I'll have to check the family tree on that one. 5-yard pickup sets up 2nd and 5. Here's Ramsby. Out near the first down. Looks like they're going to give it to him. Line to gain the 34. Breland Speaks with the tackle.
Eamon, my mentality offensively right now, if I'm head coach Tyson Summers, would be this is the most important drive. Doesn't matter your urgency, time on the clock. You need to get a score here to put yourself in a position to get the football back.
And with a very good field goal kicker, it always brings into the mind, do you settle for the quick 3 and go to the onside kick, depending on the time?
Any points are good right now.
So it is indeed a first down. Less than 6 minutes to play. Ellison keeps it himself. Cannot get away. Number 14, Victor Evans with the tackle. Sophomore out of Dallas, Texas.
And really, that's the play that's been missing for the Eagles the entire second half due to the injury, the ankle and the shoulder of Kevin Ellison.
Are you a little surprised at a lack of sense of urgency and tempo here from Georgia Southern?
Not surprising, because they're taking, it doesn't matter if they score with 2 minutes left or a minute left. They have all their timeouts remaining, and they just want to get on the board here.
This is Breida. He cuts upfield. Gets across the 40. Brought down by Ramo Moneo. Again, a 2-possession game. So 3rd and short. Less than 5 minutes to play. Again, Ellison is gimpy. You would almost assume if he's 100%, this is an automatic quarterback run, but he has not been 100%. Breida to the right. Now Breida on the option, gets the early toss. He tossed that one very early, and it didn't really matter. Fadal Brown and A.J. Moore. So now 4th and about 5 as they lose yards on that option play.
Good job by Ole Miss pursuing and knowing that Ellison wasn't going to be able to run the football. A.J. Moore comes up and makes a nice hit on the perimeter, and now a very difficult 4th down conversion for the Eagles offense.
Really, with a 2-score game, this almost is the ball game. Fourth and 4. Ramsby in the backfield with Ellison. Here comes pressure. Tipped and incomplete. So Ole Miss takes over on downs. Ellison comes off the field. The Rebels will try to salt this one away when we return to Oxford. Let's take a look back at our Jared Drive recap. And John Congemi, there's no disputing the turning point of this game.
It was the onside kick, and Tyler Thurley did a great job of getting on the football, and that led to 3 consecutive scores. Chad Kelly's able to find his way into the end zone on the ground, and he's able to hand it off, and this offensive line did a terrific job of moving the football. Judd gets in, and then the big catch on the outside, Evan Ingram gets in for the score. So 3 straight drives, and that's with Chad Kelly. Without Chad Kelly, it's been a struggle offensively, and they're going to have to figure that out, not only for the remainder of this game, but going into the remainder of the season.
Kelly injuring his knee early here in the third quarter when he took a hit from a league way. He went into the locker room and he returned, but obviously is not playing. And we mentioned Tyson Summers, the head coach, Georgia Southern, in his first year, rolling the dice. They had all the momentum. Matt Breida had
First charge timeout, Georgia Southern. That's a 30-second timeout.
That just
Clock
busted
operator,
off.
please reset the game clock to 3:42. 3:42 on the game clock.
68-yard touchdown run. So they had all the momentum. They were feeling good about themselves, and he went for it all.
He did. He went to go and try to go for the knockout punch, and it kind of backfired, but he knew he had to get into the 30s to win this football game here on the road against Ole Miss.
Speaking of knockout punch, one team's going to get knocked out of the playoff race tonight when number 10 Nebraska meets number 6 Ohio State. That'll be from the Shoe in Columbus, and you can see it on ABC. Both teams are 7-1, so obviously big-time college football playoff implications. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Now, I was reading a couple of quotes during the week. Jordan Westerkamp from Nebraska said, Ohio State, they're beatable. So we'll see what happens.
Showed that.
That's right.
Westerkamp healthy now and back in the rotation for that offense. Direct snap to Brasley. Not sure if he ever really finally had control, but he took a big hit too from Joshua Moon. So they are lucky they still have the ball.
Second charge timeout, Georgia Southern. That's a 30-second timeout.
And you're right. The last thing you want to do is lay the football on the ground.
Tyson Summers takes his second timeout. Let's see how close they came to putting this one on the grass.
Well, the direct snap goes well right of the quarterback, Jason Pellerin, right into the lap of Eugene Brasley, and he's lucky to hang on to the football once in the backfield, and then he had great contact as well. Javon Patterson, remember we talked about the mix-up in the offensive line. He's making his first start at center. We haven't seen many errant shotgun snaps, and I don't know if that was by design or not, but they were able to not make a bad play worse.
It didn't look like it. Pellerin thought that ball looked like Pellerin thought the ball was for him.
We saw a couple of those in warm-ups, but we haven't seen one of those except for that last play in game action.
So now 3rd and 9. Looks like empty backfield. I'm going to call design quarterback draw to work the clock and make them take their third timeout. And he's got an alley. But he got close to the first down, but he's short. Stayed in bounds, forcing Tyson Summers to take his final timeout.
Final timeout, Georgia Southern. That's a full timeout.
So it'll be 4th and about 2, we'll call it. On the 32, which will be a 49-yard kick. That is in Wunderlich's range. He kicked a 49-yarder last week. Coach Freeze telling us yesterday he's confident with him 53-ish and in. But do you just go for it all? Do you go for the first down and end it?
Yeah, I think you keep your offense on the field if you're Ole Miss. You've got a quarterback that's accustomed to doing just this. And your offensive line has played really well in the second half, and they've owned the line of scrimmage in the running game because without Chad Kelly, this team has really relied on the running game. So I think that offensive line probably a little bit lathered up right now, wanting that opportunity on 4th and 2.
So now Georgia Southern out of timeouts, down by 10. And Pellerin's going back out there. So Hugh Freeze has made up his mind. He's going to go for it on 4th and 2. With a redshirt freshman quarterback. Judd in the backfield. Pellerin's going to keep it himself, and he gets it. Lowers the shoulder. He gets 2 or 3 extra yards. So Ole Miss moves the chains and gets a new set of downs. Let's check in with the studio while we have a moment.
So we have the potential upset in Starkville, potential upset at Auburn, as well as Vanderbilt. Look at Zach Cunningham leap the line, blocks the field goal. Vandy has the ball and inside the 30-yard line, down 7, final minute. Back to you guys.
All right, so certainly some interesting scores in the early games around the SEC today.
Special teams playing a significant role in the SEC.
So the clock moves, 2:50 left. Judd gets to the 25. Runs into Jay Ellison. I tell you, Georgia Southern, once again, you're rolling the dice as a Power 5 team when you put them on your schedule. You're going to get 15 rounds and then some.
You're going to get their best effort. And today, it looks like they may come up 10 points short, but in their first half, they controlled the football game in all three facets.
Judd again gets hit hard, but gets near a first down. So up next for this Rebel Ball Club, a trip to College Station in Texas A&M, and all questions early on in the week are going to be about the status of the quarterback, Chad Kelly.
Well, it is. It's going to be, can he get out and move on that right knee? Immediately kind of pointed to the right knee. The trainers were working on it. They brought him into the locker room, and he did not get back into the football game, and it's going to be imperative for Ole Miss to be competitive next week down the stretch in a tough football game to have their starter at quarterback.
Of course, Texas A&M right now in a dogfight itself. Trailing by 7. Judd with a spin move. Inside the 10. First and goal, Ole Miss, but we go back to sort of the play they'll be talking about early on this week. Chad Kelly got hit high, but it was the injury to the knee on the landing.
Yeah, it looked like the way his right foot was planted, he immediately walked to the sidelines very gingerly and pointing to his right knee. And hopefully it's not a significant injury for Chad and for Ole Miss, and the way they like to run tempo and like the way they spread the football out offensively, that he'll be able to be at quarterback next week.
So now they can take a knee with no timeouts left for Georgia Southern. They will stop the bleeding of a losing streak and be able to celebrate a victory before gearing up for Texas A&M. So probably a little bit tougher than many of the fans here in Oxford expected, but they're going to get the victory.
It was a gritty win for Ole Miss against the team that you know was going to come out and play. This is the one they circle on their schedule if they can make an impact, and they did in the first half, but it wasn't enough to sustain a winning effort in the second half.
So that does it. Coach Freeze was looking for some positive energy, and it was kind of provided by the visitors as they went for the onside kick. They took possession and took control, and they get the win 37-27. Ole Miss stops the losing streak and improves to 4-5 before getting ready for Texas A&M. So many questions about the health of his quarterback as he congratulates Tyson Summers on a hard-fought ball game, and Ole Miss too much for Georgia Southern. They win it 37-27. For John Kingemi and our entire crew, I'm Eamon McEnany saying thanks for watching. Now let's send you to College Football Scoreboard with Brendan Fitzgerald and Kevin Carter.